Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifted. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. First of all, before we get started, we have to welcome Minx, the cutie, to the intellects. You guys give her a warm welcome. We thank you so much for supporting the platform. And welcome to all of you. If you are new here, thank you so much for coming in. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you've been rocking with your girl for a minute, thank you so much for your continuous support. You guys know what we're here for. I did a poll this morning, and some of y'all like, Diddy ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. What are we talking about? The bond hearing. Okay, so I did a poll on this morning. Let me see where this poll is at, because y'all ain't give him no love. No love. I mean, I was like, I made it clear. I was like, listen now. What I don't want you to do is do it based on whether you like him or not, because we all know y'all don't like him. All right. Some of you anyway. And the poll, just out of 789 votes, only 21% of you said, yes, Diddy is going home. The other 79% said, no, Diddy's going to stay right where he is. But one thing's for certain and two things for sure. In a few moments, probably in about an hour, we will know if Diddy will go home. But before we get into that, you know, everybody is, I've seen a lot of people that were streaming chat, they are over here stalking the family. Let me show you. They done got a shot through the windows. Look at her. They got a shot over there through the windows of the people walk. So they looks like they're probably going into the courtroom. I mean, then the other stations, a lot of them are playing little old stuff, but it looked like it's raining and wind is blowing over there in New York. Let's find another one before I get into, because I do have a couple documents that were filed this morning that, of course, we're gonna go over first. Yeah, let me stream the AP because I like them better. Is that the AP? Yeah, they all in the bushes. Look at them. They said what they're going to get is a good shot, okay? We are not playing these games over here. We're about to get a shot of these people. And then, like I said, a lot of the other stations, they're kind of showing the old videos. Let's see. All right, but let's get into it. So one of the issues that we know that's going to happen today is that the judge wanted to know why Michael Jeffries getting out on bond, why wants to know the difference between Michael Jeffries versus Diddy. And some of you guys had a lot of reasons why you felt like Diddy is different than Jeffries. And so the government also decided to pre-write to the court why they believe there is a difference. My opinion, honestly, was I don't think the judge told them they had to write anything. I'd have sprung it on them while they was there. You know what I'm saying? Because now, because you did file it, they know what your arguments are, and they probably can almost easily counter some of those arguments, because I was able to look it up. Like, no, that's not necessarily, true what they're saying. So let me pull up one of those documents. As you come in, make sure you hit the like button. You guys know what we here for. So the government this morning said the government respectfully submits this letter in advance of the hearing scheduled for November 22nd, 2024, in connection with the defendant's renewed motion for bail and in response to the court's inquiry about the relevance of the bail package ordered with the government's consent as a defendant, Michael Jeffries in U.S. v. Jeffries. For the reasons stated below, the circumstances in Jeffries are an opposite and provide no support for the defendant's bail application in instant matter. On October 17, 2024, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of New York returned an indictment charging 3 defendants, including Michael Jeffries, with 1 count of sex trafficking, 15 counts of interstate prostitution. As alleged, from approximately 2008 to 2015, Jeffries and his co-defendants operated international trafficking and prostitution business. Jeffries allegedly paid for dozens of men to travel within the United States and internationally to meet Jeffries and his co-defendant to engage in commercial sex acts. In addition, Jeffries and his co-defendants relied on a security company to surveil and intimidate witnesses who threatened to expose their misconduct. Following his arrest, the government consented to Jeffries' release on strict bail conditions, including a secured $10 million bond and home detention with electronic monitoring. The defense argues in its renewed bail motion that Combs is similarly situated to Jeffries and should similarly be released. But beyond superficial similarities, the high-profile position of the defendants in ex-trafficking charges, the cases are materially different as to multiple factors the court must consider under the Bail Reform Act. So first, they say the nature and circumstances of the offenses are substantially different. While the Jeffries case, which spans from 2008 to 2015, alleges the use of force, fraud, and coercion to engage in men in non-consensual sex, there are no allegations that Jeffries committed non-trafficking related violent acts or that he used firearms during the charge period. So basically, they're arguing that there's no allegations in the indictment for Jeffries that he did things, everything with him was sex related. So things with Diddy is, I guess, he's been accused, as some people have talked about, of being violent, or even the name Puffy, according to what was said, is because he has a temper. So they're saying Jeffries may be forceful and coercion, and he may have been violent towards men and anally are essaying them without their consent. But Diddy, outside of X, he also has a history of just being violent, period. Okay, that's their first argument. The indictment against Combs alleges both. With respect to the charge offenses, Jeffries does not include a racketeering offense. By contrast, Combs is charged with leading a racketeering enterprise that engaged in a persistent pattern of racketeering activity from 2008 through 2024 that included repeated acts of violence by Combs and his co-conspirators, including multiple acts involving kidnapping, arson, and forced labor. Further, as detailed in the indictment, Combs protected and promoted his role in the enterprise through violence, use of firearms, threats, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. As recently as 2024, firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, were recovered from Combs' residence. That's what some of y'all was saying in the chat, talking about what was recovered and all of that. So maybe they got the information from some of you guys. Second, their second reason is the defendant's criminal conduct, including acts of obstruction, has persisted through the present, while Jeffries allegedly also engaged in efforts to conceal criminal activity, including through the use of surveillance and threats of litigation to ensure victim silence. That alleged conduct ended in 2015. Here, however, the conduct charged against Combs extends through 2024, and even since being charged, Combs has continued to obstruct conduct, including by repeatedly flouting the orders of this court and the rules and regulations of the BOP, using three-way calls and pins. The third reason is the history and characteristics are different. Jeffries is 80 with no criminal record, with no criminal history. I don't know if that, I'll get into and Combs is decades younger. Further, he has been arrested and investigated multiple times for crimes of violence and obstruction, and as described above, has repeatedly violated BOP regulations and the very same gag order he demanded that this court enter. In sum, Jeffries is materially different from the instant matter for the reasons stated above and the government's motion. The defendants removed no. So this is their arguments as to why they believe that there is a difference. Now, when you look in, and the reason why I said I probably wouldn't have put this out here, because to me, it's not that strong what they're saying. I'd have just hit it with them, so then maybe they wouldn't have had anything to show the opposite of that if I was the government, but I ain't trying to help the government like that either. So let me go to, did I put that in here? That's the Jeffries differences. On Jeffries, okay, this is from the government on his case, and this was back in October when they actually are the ones. So this is the overview of the Jeffries. From approximate, for those of you that don't know and weren't on the live when I was talking about the indictment, from approximately 92 to 2014, Jeffries was the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, a fashion clothing retailer that owned and operated retail stores around the world. Matthew Smith was Jeffries' life partner. Jacobson was employed by Jeffries and Smith to recruit, interview, and hire men to perform commercial acts at the direction of Jeffries and Smith. As specified in the allegations in the indictment, from 2008 to 2015, Jeffrey, Smith, and Jacobson, together with others, operated international ex-trafficking and prostitution business. During this period, Jeffries and Smith relied on their vast financial resources, Jeffries' power as a CEO of Abercrombie, and numerous people, including Jacobson's, and a network of employees, contracts, and security professionals to run a business that was dedicated to fulfilling their actual desires and ensuring that their international ex-trafficking and prostitution business was kept a secret, thereby maintaining Jeffries' powerful reputation. As part of this international ex-trafficking and prostitution business, Jeffries and Smith paid for dozens of men to travel within the United States and internationally to meet Jeffries and Smith in various locations, including in the Hamptons, New York, as well as in hotels in such places as England, France, Italy, Morocco, and other luxury international cruise ships for the purpose of engaging in commercial acts with Jeffrey Smith and others. Jacobson traveled throughout the U.S. and internationally to recruit and interview for these X events. During tryouts of potential candidates, Jacobson typically required that the men first engage in commercial X acts with him. Jeffries and Smith spent millions of dollars to create a massive infrastructure that supported this operation. In addition to paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash to men for commercial X, they also spent prolific amounts on a secret staff to run X events, domestic and international travel, and hotel rooms. Jacobson's salary and a full-service security company that oversaw non-disclosure agreements, conducted background checks, and surveilled witnesses, among other things. Importantly, these non-disclosure agreements were intended to, and in fact did, stop victims and witnesses not only from disclosing information about the X events, but also from seeking assistance for themselves where needed. Indeed, Jeffrey, Smith, and Jacobson knew that this conduct was illegal and conspired to maintain the secrecy of their sprawling operation. For example, in addition to the non-disclosures, Jeffries and Smith directed the purchase and use of prepaid cellular devices to facilitate communications with Jacobson, including those between Jacobson and their staff, to reduce the risk that they would be exposed. And on occasion, when witnesses threatened to expose or sue them, Jeffries and Smith relied on the services of a security company to surveil and intimidate those individuals, thereby securing their silence. So it just kind of generally says that they've done that. So then they have the defendants use coercive, fraudulent, and deceptive tactics to coordinate a sprawling international trafficking and prostitution operation. So then they give examples. They employed a referral system, an interview process that failed to inform men of the details of the X events before they attended, including the full extent and nature of the activity that would be required of the men at these events, including, among other things, anal intercourse, the insertion of large X toys into the anus, and high-pressured enemas administered by inserting the holes into the anus. Caused men to believe that attending the events would yield modeling opportunities at Abercrombie or benefit their career. Physically groom men prior to the events, including at times shaving their genitalia without advance notice. Require men to relinquish their personal items, including clothing, wallets, cell phones, and store them in an accessible location during the events. Require men to sign NDAs. Intentionally recruited heterosexual men, certain of whom were unwilling to engage in particular X acts, including anal X, and insisted that men who previously stated they were unwilling to engage in particular acts, including anal, nonetheless engage in such acts during the events, and pressured men to consume alcohol, Viagra, and muscle relaxants known as poppers during these events. So against the background of this deceptive and coercive environment, Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson used force, fraud, and coercion to compel certain victims to engage in X acts and in the events. Jeffries and Smith engaged in the acts or caused men to engage in acts to which the men did not or were unable to consent. At least 2 men disclosed to the FBI that on their first trip to Jeffries Hampton's home, Jeffries subjected them to anal without their consent. Jeffries and Smith also subjected certain men to other kinds of anal penetration, including painful, high-pressure water enemas without their consent. Numerous other witnesses said that Jeffries subjected them to escalating demands of anal and their sex acts, even after they said no, or persisted in X acts after they requested that he stop. Other witnesses disclosed that Smith also engaged in aggressive sexual behavior, and notwithstanding the fact that Smith personally witnessed Jeffries' aggressive sexual behavior on numerous occasions and therefore knew the physical risk Jeffrey posed to attendees, Smith not only continued to participate in X events for his and Jeffrey's pleasure, but also facilitated Jeffrey's ever more outlandish conduct. Jeffries and Smith also pressured men to consume alcohol and poppers during these events. Multiple men have disclosed that Jeffries would hold their heads to force them down to inhale poppers before X acts. Jeffries and Smith also directed others to inject or personally injected men in their penises with the prescription-grade erection-induced substance for the purpose of causing the men to engage in X acts in which they were otherwise physically incapable or unwilling. Notwithstanding the fact that these injections were not medically indicated and often caused the men to suffer painful physical reactions that lasted for several hours, Jeffries and Smith employed their use to fulfill their own sexual desires by causing men to submit to them. Several men have disclosed that they suffered a significant medical reaction to the injections and were never offered medical attention. At least one individual disclosed that he was required to engage in sex acts even as he was still suffering the effects of the injection. Many of the victims, at least one of whom was as young as 19 years old, were financially vulnerable and aspired to become models in the fashion industry, a notoriously cutthroat world. Indeed, some of the men they recruited had previously worked for Abercrombie. Basically, Jeffries and them took advantage of them. Some men also were led to believe that refusing to engage in these interactions could stifle their careers, a premise that was easily accepted in such dysfunctional industry. In fact, numerous men told the FBI that Jacobson misled them the purpose of meeting and engaging in sexual activity with Jeffries and Smith. For these serious crimes, the defendants face significant terms of imprisonment. If convicted of the X trafficking charge, the defendant faces a max sentence of life imprisonment and mandatory minimum of 15 years. If convicted of the interstate prostitution, the defendant faces a max of 20 years. So those are pretty much the facts of the Jeffries. Make sure y'all hit that like button while you coming in. Let me see. Trying to see if they got any more anything happening before I continue to read. Let me make sure I'm on Twitter. See. So right now in the courtroom, Combs' attorney, Tony Rico, has come back into the gallery to speak with Diddy supporters. Alexandra Shapiro sitting reading from a binder. 4 prosecutors are in the front row. So Sean Combs is in there. He was brought in there wearing MDC jail tan uniform. He made a point of hugging his lawyer, Agnafilio, then sat and chatted with the other attorney, Rico. Where's the thread for this? All right. Let me read a little bit more. So that's what's happening right now in the courtroom. We not there, but we there, you know. So they go through the legal standards of the bail reform. So this is what the government and the defense consented to. So they said, based on the defendant's serious and years-long abuse, the penalties they face upon conviction, the strong evidence of their guilt, and their ability and incentive to flee, the government respectfully submits that Jeffries and Jacobson should be released only upon the issuance of substantial secure bond in the amount of $10 million for Jeffries and $500,000 for Jacobson, along with the imposition of appropriate conditions to ensure they do not flee or endanger the community. For the same reasons, in addition to the fact, remember I told you Smith is not a U.S. citizen and maintains meaningful contact with the United Kingdom, and he is a national and citizen of the UK. So they wanted Smith detained. So that's why he got detained, the third person. First, as set forth above, the offenses are serious. The conduct involves extraordinary abuse. Second, the evidence of the defendant's guilt is strong. The indictment comes at the end of a long-term investigation conducted by the FBI and includes the anticipated testimony of dozens of witnesses, documentary evidence, including emails, travel records, non-disclosure agreements, financial records, and other docs. Where the weight of the evidence is strong, it follows that the defendant faces an elevated risk of conviction. So that's part of their evidence. Third, the history and characteristic weigh in favor of imposing stringent conditions of release and detention. While the defendants have no known prior criminal history, the evidence shows their conduct was not aberrational of a one-time mistake. The defendant employed dozens of people and spent millions of dollars on their illegal enterprise. So the government in the Eastern District on this case with Jeffries did consider it an enterprise. So that's why I said they can actually probably use this paragraph. The defense came, yeah, he doesn't have a criminal history, but based on the evidence, he had a whole enterprise and spent millions of dollars, and it was all over the world. It wasn't just around the country. So their crimes were meticulously planned to take advantage of men for their own pleasure, which included forcible sex without consent. Importantly, defendants were deeply committed to maintain the secrecy of their operations, including by using legal agreements and money to leverage their power over witnesses and guarantee their silence regarding the sprawling illegal conduct. Also, if you guys recall, there was a class action complaint against him. And to do a class action, you have to have a lot of witnesses that came forward. And so the person that is the plaintiff in that class action actually said a lot of things to make it sound like it was an enterprise with the Jeffries situation. And there's also a lot of information in there that will go beyond even what was in this document submitted by the government related to Jeffries. So if they were to look in that, meaning Sean Combs, if they were to actually look, and I'm sure they did look thoroughly and beyond even this with Jeffries, then they probably can counter some of the things that the government is saying is so different than Combs. Because when you look at this, they're saying it was a multi-million-dollar enterprise. They just didn't do any type of racketeering enterprise in the indictment. Like I told you, in Diddy's, they were very, very detailed. And Jeff, you're talking about a number of pages, but with this, it was just very it was spot on. When we looked at the indictment, it was like 11 pages, but they had like 16 alleged people that were victims of prostitution. Fourth, the defendants had the means to flee if they choose to, and that's because they had substantial wealth. Given these factors and the likelihood that a conviction on an ex-trafficking charge will result in an effective life sentence for the defendants, given their respective ages, the defendants are all at risk of flight. So they made it as if because of the age, they probably are more of flight risk, because you're like, I got more years behind me than in front of me. I'm 80 years old. Why not go ahead to another country and live the rest out of my days? So they're using it in this, that the age factor actually will go against them than it will go for them. Moreover, the possibility of a substantial sentence here presents a uniquely different risk to the defendants than mere monetary damages associated with a civil lawsuit, and thus any claim that Smith and Jeffries have not yet fled, notwithstanding the existence of a pending civil lawsuit. Also, in that civil lawsuit, they allege that because they're suing Abercrombie and Finch, because they're saying Abercrombie knew about this because they had been paying people not to come forward. So that does not mean that they weren't continuously paying people past even when this man resigned, because I think he left Abercrombie in like 2014 or 15 or something. And so they were paying people like to keep this quiet, allegedly. That's the allegation anyway, but that's all in the allegation. So Smith, of course, they say he posed a risk because he ain't even a citizen here, so we ain't got to go through that. So then this was the bond that they got, okay? Now, mind you, too, I thought it was interesting because I'm reading the footnotes and they were like, let me read. This is the bond that he got, and it was agreed by the defendant. Home detention with GPS location monitoring, a bond of $10 million for Jeffrey secured by property, and a bond of $500,000 for Jacobson secured by property, signed by at least two sureties with significant moral suasions over the relevant defendant, restrictions limiting travel to their home district and as required for court for the Eastern District of New York, no contact outside the presence of their attorneys with known co-conspirators, known potential witness, or any known alleged victims of the offenses charged in the indictment. In the event there is confusion regarding whether someone the defendant interacts with fall into any of the above categories, the defendant shall seek permission from pretrial services. Now, interesting, in the footnote, they said because Jeffries and Smith are life partners, the government is not seeking to forbid contact between them, but only to prohibit contact between them and Jacobson, and to prohibit the defendant from discussing the case among themselves outside the presence of counsel. And then in the next footnote, they have the conditions is particularly applicable to Jacobson, who is known to possess multiple firearms, albeit for recreational purposes. So there was a lot between this one, this document, and that civil lawsuit that, in my opinion, the government's 2 pages as to why they say that they're dissimilar is not that strong to me. But that's just my opinion. Jeffrey case sound like a RICO if Diddy case is a RICO. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's actually 3 people indicted in his case, and they're saying it was a multi-million-dollar ring around the they're making it like because it's just sexual, it doesn't look like. I think with Diddy, they're trying to add in like YSL. We're trying to add in everything. Like with YSL, they added in drugs, they added in murders, they added in so different things that they're saying other people in this enterprise had done. With them, they're saying, yeah, they might have held them down and made them ingest drugs, but it was all actually related. Nothing was non-actual. Like, it still was violent as heck. All of this sounded violent if it's true. Again, it's all an allegation. But even if you look at the civil complaint, it was very interesting because they gave more details of certain things. And it sounded that a lot of, like, the guy that was suing said he was forced, like they were forced to have this sexual interaction, and then they would take them with them like you almost their slave or in captivity, and you got to go with them and travel to different countries against your will, where he was consistently being raped while he was going until they let him go. But they still would say, well, you went through all of this, we like you, you're going to be a model. And then he would think, okay, maybe all of this wasn't for naught. And so then this same type of abuse would happen again. So there is literally 100 and something page lawsuit that is filed against Abercrombie, but it's based on the behaviors of Jeffries and these other guys that were indicted. So I'm assuming part of the investigation may have been somehow related to these lawsuits as well, but that's it. LaFay said because they are older white males. Well, like I said, they used it in the Eastern District. They said because they're older, they have more of a reason to flee. So it depends on how you use them. My point is, I would have brought all this stuff up while I was there. If the judge didn't make me write it in the motion, you would now, they can literally, if they look this stuff up, which they probably did, and actually have this document I just read to you along with the class action, whenever they get up there and make them arguments, I would be like, Jacobson had guns. Look at this footnote. This was coercive. Look at this. The government in the Eastern District considered this an enterprise as well. They just didn't do racketeering. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can just check mark that if that's what I'm just saying. Let's see if we got anything else going on. I can't see where he actually did a thread, though. Let me see. All rise at 2:13. Combs lawyer Rico. The family of Mr. Sean Love Combs are here. They traveled a long way. The judge said, thank you for being here. Mr. Agnifilio said, tell me about the legal pads. No, the judge said, Mr. Agnifilio, tell me about the legal pads. He started off with them legal pads. Like, I need to know what's up with that. And then Combs' lawyer said, the first time I saw them was Tuesday. As we sit here today, I'm not sure when legal was written on each of them. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Different members of the defense team was telling him to write legal on the pads. There is a photo of a pad without legal on it. So then Combs' lawyer says, so it's clear that on November 1st, the sweep, they did not all say legal. The judge said, the pad you handed up to me, did it say legal on it on November 1st? And Agnophilia said, I'm not sure. And the judge said, moving forward, make sure your representations are true. So basically, they done wrote legal on it. That's what it sounds like to me. Is that what that sounds like to you? Sounds like that they're saying he had some pads with legal and some without legal on it. And the one he handed to the judge had legal, but that wasn't the one that was matching in the picture. So the judge said, before you make representations to this court as an officer of the court, you better make sure what you're saying is true, because you sound like you lying. Okay, so then the judge said, Miss Slavic, what's the status of Mr. Combs' laptop? So then Miss Slavic said the laptop for him to review the discovery at the MDC, the idea is to preload the information he is allowed to have at the MDC on the laptop. There's a protective order. So that's all they have for that. Chill. You said they lying. Diddy, I was trying to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. And y'all sat up here and said, I'm trying to get to the, when he said, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, I'm like, oh, okay. So basically the judge caught it. He clocked it. The judge clocked that you guys really did not have legal on them pads. That's what it sounds like, Southwestern Houston, Texas. That's what it sounds like. Got me out here fighting these people, trying to make sure you're not, people saying that you are being misrepresenting to the court as an officer. I'm like, not my brother counsel. Oh no. Like, yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I wonder why I can't get to this and make it a thread. I need somebody to come on here and help me. Show the thread. Oh, he ain't say nothing else yet. But anyway, you guys see, I want to hear about this argument with Jeffries. So we done put the different information up there. All right, bear with me. Bear with me. That's why I'm usually in the courtroom. I don't like this. I don't like waiting on other people. The judge said on the bill application, I don't have to deal with the Bustani case. The defense is saying there are extensive conditions proposed, including 24/7 security. What about the Fox case? Remember, we went over that before. When they mentioned Fox before, that's another case similar to Jeffries, I guess, when they ended up getting out on bond. And then the AUSA said there was no RICO charge in the case, and the judge agreed that it was no RICO charge in that case. So it looks like they were pulling up all of the actual related cases, and they're saying this is different because this is a racketeering. This is how they're setting it apart from all of these trafficking type. Didn't they do that with R. Kelly? Wasn't he charged with a RICO too and he didn't get out? So I guess the RICO will keep you in, huh? But it sounds like to me, Jeffrey stuff sound real RICO-ish to me, if that's a word. Let me see. Okay, waiting on the next tweet. Thank you so much, Teresa. I appreciate that. We had a troll in here. Do we need more mods? Let me see. How many mods we got in here? Oh. I think Alice is in here. Miss HLS. Depending on how I go, I'm gonna have to add another mod because I know some people are passionate about this situation. Jeffries is giving international RICO. Lock him up. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how they getting past this one. If they have looked Jeffries up and this is like the judge was really like curious, like he's saying, this is gonna be a hard one to overcome with the Jeffries because what I'm looking at doesn't look like his is too much better. But I guess Epstein got locked up too, though, right? The judge said, but I want you to address the proposed condition. And the government said there has to be. Here he will not. He cannot be trusted. Consider his conduct in custody after the two judges' finding. His attorneys are enabling his flouting of the BOP's rules. Consider the labeling of the pads after the fact, even family members. The judge said, what's your response if Mr. Combs says, even if they don't trust me, there'll be 24/7 security? So that's what the judge asked. So the AUSA, now they use like, we can't even trust the lawyer, right? The lawyer is helping them break the rules. He on three-way with them and know he's not supposed to be or answering these cards with the PIN number. And look at this book. Look at this legal notebook shenanigans. It wasn't even true, Judge. We can't even trust him or his lawyer. That's what it sounds like they're saying to me. All right, let's see. See what else is happening in the court. You said denied. Dang, the defense ain't even said nothing yet. Dang. See, we can't even trust the lawyers. If you can't trust the lawyers and they officer the court, and we take an oath to upstand all the rules of the court and the Constitution of the United States and to abide by them and enforce them, it's like we can't even trust the lawyers. That's messed up. That's messed up. They said he's an enabler. His lawyers are enablers. Let me see. And then they said if he can't comply with the custodial setting, he will not comply if released. What type of security firm? They suggested a co-conspirator, one whose phone was taken only the day before. The second suggestion was a defense investigator in this case. So they saying they are suggesting people. But see, on the flip side of that, the AUSA also knows that they said they'll use any security that they want to use as well. So them kind of saying that all they want to do is use people they know is not really true, because they did say that they would let them pick who it is. That ain't true. Let's see. Put see if I could at least put the little tweet up. This is where I'm getting it from. That's what they talk about. His attorneys are enabling. If he can't comply, then it said, yeah, that's the last one. If he can't comply in a custodial setting, he will not comply if released. What type of security firm? They suggested a co-conspirator, one whose phone was taken only the day before. The second suggestion was a defense investigator in this case. So it sounds like they're trying to tell the judge, listen, it doesn't matter what security firm they offer. They're a part of the conspiracy. But again, they did offer to whatever security firm that the government wanted, they also offered that they would take them to. Make sure you guys hit the like button for me on your way in. I don't like Twitter. I really don't. Y'all be patient. We waiting on the next tweet. Okay, so then they say the investigator has been out contacting witnesses. Essentially, they work for him. This would be the defendant buying his way out. So then the judge said, you've conceded that Bustani's bar does not apply here. You cited his wealth to release him. So can he use it? Mm-hmm. So let's see. My baby is talking all loud to her siblings in the next room. So if they get too loud, let me know. Because I know we have a lot of dead spots here. I wish I could play some Diddy music for y'all, Or maybe not. Let me see. Hold on. Could you be quiet, please? Just bring your voice down a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me see. The AUS said, we're not seeking his continued detention based on his wealth, but rather danger, risk of flight, and obstruction. The judge said, is obstruction your main argument? The AUSA said, danger to others. The judge said, so not a flight risk? The AUS said, we still rely on that too. They like, whatever, judge. They trying to figure out what the judge feels is more important. That's what they're trying to do right now. So they're like, yeah, we're relying on that too. Is that what you need, Judge? We're relying on whatever you think we need to rely on. So then they say, tell me about obstruction. And the AUSA said, his continuing violation of rules. The judge said, if running a PR campaign, obstruction. And the AUSA said, that's not what we have here. Rather, it's his concerted effort to impact the integrity of these proceedings. So the judge asked him, okay, he did a whole thing with his kids or whatnot, trying to salvage his reputation for his birthday. So is that obstruction? Is that what you're saying obstruction is? Because he actually tried to get the little birthday video out? And the AUSA said, that's not what we have here. Rather, it's a concerted effort to impact the integrity of these proceedings. Let's say whatever it takes. DST 1095 said, Pam, you are a great interpreter. Yes, they're trying to find a rein to keep him in jail. Yeah, because they don't want to concede anything, because that thing they concede might have been what the judge deems important. So the problem is you're saying certain things, but you don't. I told you, to me, their arguments just wasn't that strong to me. To me, they just didn't seem that strong. Now, hey, we'll see what the judge says, because that's the final. The judge got the final say. But they're like, maybe the AUSA is like, they need to throw, it's the totality of the circumstances. When we couple everything together, his case is so different from everyone else's, and he needs to stay in jail. Then on the flip side, like I said, if the defense has all the information we done went over here on this platform, the defense got a strong argument. So we about to see. Let me see here. Then the AUSA says, he says, I want to reach the jurors. I need only one. So then judge said he's not permitted to engage in any conduct to impact the jury pool. And the AUS said his intent is obstructive conduct. He's violated the so-called gag order. He's the one who asked for the order. So they keep going back to the fact that Diddy filed a motion saying that they are leaking things to the media, because we have been you got federal agents who are allegedly contacting the New York Times and saying, oh yeah, the jury just got impaneled, and everything they've said has been accurate. So somebody's leaking something from somewhere. And so Diddy, as you guys know, tried to get a gag order to prevent them from releasing all this information, because they're saying they work for the government, but they're just saying they're anonymous. Of course, they ain't trying to risk their job. So, but they're like saying they saw tapes and what was on the tapes, just all type of stuff they're telling these journalists. And so Diddy's attorneys try to put a gag order. So what the AUSA doing is they're trying to do a reverse uno, like, listen, he want us to be quiet, but the same media you're saying you don't want us to influence is the same media you're trying to use for yourself to give you a better persona. So they're basically saying that because he want to put the birthday wishes out there and make it look like he's a family man and try to change this monster persona he has out here, they're saying you're the one trying to tank the jury, not us. I wonder, he gonna go hard on the other side though. Don't think he just, really giving him a whole lot, because he's the judge. Judges are how you thinking you winning, and then you turn around and they go harder on you than they did on the other person. Thank you so much, Muffin. Muffin said, I don't have much, but I see and adore your fan. Keep educating us. By the way, I grew up AME too. Hey, Muffin. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Make sure y'all hit the like button on your way in. We done went over a whole lot already about this Jeffries. You're not going to get that nowhere else. Let me see. This is getting interesting. Let's see what else is happening over here. The court entered the order. The court entered the order on October 25th. This is from the AUSA. He started his campaign on October 27th. He couldn't even comply for 2 days. The judge said, what about the Jeffries case? Where's the government agreed to release on $10 million bond? And the AUSA said, we did a letter. We already went over that letter over here. So now they're getting on to the differences. Remember, the judge wanted the AUSA to say, well, how did Jeffries get out on $10 million bonds? And a lot of this stuff is similar, seems to be similar. And you think Diddy shouldn't get the same treatment. So they did a letter. This was a couple of pages, and we went over that. For those of you that just came on, we went over that letter at the beginning of this live. So you might want to go back and check that out. This inner city press ain't playing with y'all. Thank you, Lisa, for the Cash App. I appreciate that. He's not even playing with y'all. He got the whole letter on here and everything. He done pulled up the letter. I'll put it up here for those of you that didn't read it. I know it's small, so you probably still can't read it, but the AUSA said, let me see if it refreshes on here. AUSA said, I think the better comparison is the 2 prior denials of bail here. The judge said, what about his claim the government spliced the video? AUSA said he apologized. That's the point. That's what y'all was saying in the chat. You can't tell me they don't be looking to see what the people gonna say. He said that he apologized. That's the point. The judge said, why did you use the splice video, not the original? The AUSA said it was public. So they're not denying it was spliced, okay? They just said he apologized. That's the point. Thank you, Glamour W1. You said, thank you, Pam. I'm at work, but I'm listening. You are so awesome. Thank you for the super chat and for the support. I appreciate it. Y'all see that? You can't tell me they don't be listening, because this is what I was arguing and tussling with you guys in the chat about. He was like, but he apologized. It don't even matter. It don't matter if it was spliced. He apologized. So that means the judge probably saw the original. You said it. Wait, hold on. You said it's looking like he getting bail, but we ain't seen how they gonna cut up the defense attorney. You already said don't try to mislead and misrepresent to this court ever again in your entire career. That's pretty much what he said. You have a duty of candor. So basically, the government knew they had the original video, but they decided to include the one that was public that everybody saw, that they knew that everybody was outraged about. That's the one that they decided to include at the bond hearing, I guess, is what it sounds like. But there's a whole full video. I told y'all sitting up there like, that's not true. The judge is listening to YouTube. Yeah, yes. We must be, you know how some of you guys don't know, or some maybe you guys have participated, but when you have big trials, oftentimes people get focus groups, and you guys are really almost like a focus group where you can present and how you take certain things, and if I argue something in a certain way, if it can change your mind, or like, so you'll have in some trials that you'll have that are pretty big. And so you almost do a mini trial. So, like, we have a lot of offices here in Detroit, and they have real settings of a courtroom. And so you go in there, you'll practice your opening, you get randoms, they get paid, and you get little randoms or family members or whatever to come sit for the jury, and you present your case. And sometimes they'll tell you, like, no, honey, we'll find your client guilty today, or they'll tell you like certain things that's wrong. And when they tell you what's wrong, it's really beneficial to you, because then you can tweak it. Now, if it's anything that you think is good, you can keep that as well, or you can keep the path that you're going. So it gives you an idea of how your case is. So honestly, YouTube is a good focus group if you listen to the legal channels, especially with those that aren't biased and aren't on one side. Because if you get someone that's presenting it for a prosecution point of view and from a defense point of view, and then see how the chat reacts, then you may get a clear indication. So let's see what else is happening over here. Whew. It says the cell phone footage was grand jury material, and we didn't want the defendant to be able to retaliate against the grand jury witness. We did add blurring of the victim's face. In 2016, the defendant bribed hotel security $100,000 to make it go away. I thought they said it wasn't grand jury material. I don't know. The AUSA said, does it matter if he threw a vase or the contents of a vase? He admitted to it and apologized for it. That's what the AUSA said. This took place in the middle of a freak off. The U.S. has evidence a male commercial sex worker was in the hotel room at that time. Some of you guys told me that the actual worker, I guess, came on and called in to somebody's show or something and said that they were there when it happened. So that's what they are saying right now. Let's see. So then the AUSA further said, this is devastating evidence for the trial. It shows why he cannot be released on bail. He is violent and is committed to covering up his crimes. The evidence against him continues to mount. We've learned of punching and kicking employees and partners. He was actually charged and convicted, I think, for beating up a producer at one point back in the day. It's been some years, but I remember that as well. So the government right now is saying he's violent. They have mounting evidence against him. And he's punched and he's kicked and he's beat up employees. So that's another reason why they said he should stay where he's at and he shouldn't go nowhere. And what happened with his son, college football coach? Yeah, we heard about that as well. Wendy Williams reported on that. Yes, he had a history of being violent. Again, it was in an interview, somebody said his name Puffy came from the fact that he would get mad and just always puff up and be angry. So it sounded like he has some anger issues. Scott Storch. Okay. 504 says she's sick of Rico too. DC Lively said, in my Cassie voice, bonds a night. Patrice said, I would love to hear from Lorianne. You know, they got into it. Didn't Lorianne sue him? Sue Diddy? And that's another thing, too, is he has been sued in the past. Everybody has not just been like, oh, we're not going to sue him. Because remember, he was convicted of beating somebody up. So, and then the thing with the incident that occurred that he went on trial for, he was acquitted of that. So they really can't use that. They're not supposed to really use that. But I know Shine is out here, getting his shine, no pun intended, doing his little stuff over on Hulu. And he was pissed off at Puffy because he said they were supposed to both have, he didn't deny that he wasn't up in there shooting. He just said they were supposed to have a self-defense and be cohesive as a team. Puffy got on there and said it's every person for themselves. And so he put somebody on the stand on his behalf that seen Shine's shooting. And so that just jacked him up. So when Shine goes around and talks about this, most of this again is, yeah. So now the judge said Mr. Agnifilio, that's Diddy's attorney, Combs' lawyer, comes up. I'm going to have Miss Shapiro lead us off. So then Alexandra Shapiro, she's the lady been doing all that good writing and did his appeal. She said he was not dragging her back to the freak off. The judge said there was dragging. Shapiro said, I don't mean to. The judge said there was kicking. Shapiro said he has apologized. Why would she start out by trying to, you can't minimize the darn video. Jesus. Told you guys the judge was going to be on their neck too. It sounds like you winning. And then he goes in there and he's like, he started letting you know, I don't like you either. So let me tell you what your flaws are in your argument too. I wouldn't have started out like that, Miss Shapiro. I definitely wouldn't have started that out by trying to minimize that. That wasn't a good idea. Just saying. The judge, he said he done paid his just due. He's been in our position standing in front of judges, and he is probably loving this black robe and this lifetime appointment. Courtney said, I love the judge. He's shady. Deborah said, no matter what Diddy did and the other people did, they didn't all the BS Sean Diddy do it. Did keep him locked the F up. Thanks. I don't even know what that's saying. I'm sorry. 504 said the judge is sick and tired too. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. That judge cut her off like, there was kicking. There were dragging. And then they say, what about the 2018 text message with victim one about violence? And then Combs' lawyer says, we have gathered more information about victim one even yesterday. I don't want to quote it because it's under seal and should be. It was consensual. So you saying the violence was consensual? What was consensual? Huh? People on her like, keep him in. Judge probably already knows what he wants to do. That's the crazy part. That's the killing part. Is he probably already knows what he wants to do, but he's still gonna put them through all of this, all of it. All right, let me see what y'all saying. Consensual ass. Because that's what I'm saying. What was exactly consensual, Judge? Like, that's what I would have asked. That better be the judge's follow-up question. Like, consensual? She consented to getting beat up? She consented to being dragged? She consented to having her hair pulled? That deserves that type of follow-up question. I don't. Even one of his attorneys is named Rico. You know what, Tess? I'm not doing this with y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. It's over 1,000 of you guys in here. Let everyone know that we're on. Let's see. The judge said, I don't want to quote from them, but you know the ones I mean. So then Agnifilio said, we are proposing an independent security firm. Oh, I'm sorry. So the judge said, what about the 2018 text message victim one about violence? Combs' lawyer said, we have gathered more information about victim one even yesterday. I don't want to quote it because it's under seal and should be, it was consensual. Maybe they're talking about the under seal was consensual, not the dragging, because I think the judge would have responded to that. So being under seal must have been consensual that they were going to keep it under seal. So we're going to take all that back because the judge would have, they would have deserved the dragging the judge gave them after that. So then the judge said, I don't want to quote from them, but you know the ones I mean. So then Agnifilio said, we are proposing an independent security firm. There has been mutually regrettable physical conduct going both ways. There was violence by the other person and by Mr. Combs, allegedly. Now, I have heard that they used to be fighting. I think it was Roger Bond said that it was fighting in the relationship. So that's what they're trying to say, that it was a mutual, they keep saying it's a toxic relationship. That's not anything new as far as their argument goes. TM said, y'all think fines worth this? They said it was a male who's married. So I think maybe witness, not victim too, but maybe one of the witnesses. Right, because he did work for. Now I was thinking about that because he's married with a family, right? And so apparently Diddy contacted a wife that had worked with him for years, and we know he worked for him. He was actually on Making a Band too on a lot of. I think that's how we were introduced to Fon's work. So we're all trying to guess, but we don't know. It's all speculation. Andrew said, that's supposed to be a fair fight. Lee said, let's talk about it. Was she not supposed to fight back? I don't think that's what they're saying. I think there's times that she initiated violence and he initiated violence is what they're saying. I don't think it's about fighting back. I'm confused about the vase. So 504, what happened is the government was saying that Diddy threw a vase at her per the video, but apparently he never threw a vase. He just took the flowers out and threw the flowers. So he didn't hit her to hurt her, he just hit her to kind of, touch her a little bit. She's like, he didn't hit her with the whole vase. He just hit her with the content. Combs' lawyer Shapiro said in the LaFontaine case from 2000, the defendant told someone to lie by phone from the MCC. In the Gotti case from 1996, the head of the Gambino crime family, the witness received a, quote, kick in the ass, end quote. The government does not have that here. Okay, I guess we had to be there to understand this. So in the LaFontaine case, so they're discussing certain cases and they're saying, I guess they're distinguishing cases that the AUSA used to support them, to support their position of bond. And so they say in the LaFontaine case from 2000, the defendant told someone to lie by phone from MCC. So basically they were at the correctional facility and they was like, yo, we need you to just lie. And they caught them telling that they were telling someone a lie. So then she also referenced the Gotti case, which was a 96 case. And that was the head of the Gambino crime family, which is really what the RICO statute were premised on, was mob-related activity. And they've stretched it out to include Lottie Dottie and everybody. But the witness received a kick in the ass, quote, end quote. And they said the government doesn't have any. So basically, they don't have any direct threats of coercion or intimidation. They don't have anything direct. Is I think what they're getting at. Combs' lawyer said, we cited the Trump case. Of course you would. Why not? You might as well use the next president. We cited the Trump case. Defendants have greater rights to speak than their lawyers. An Instagram post as well, as I don't know if I can. The judge said his communication from the MDC. Shapiro said he says the prosecution is motivated by racism. Okay. Who said that the prosecution was motivated by racism? I need some context there. Oh, they're going to ask about those three-way calls, of course. That's why I said it's not the judge is going to ask the AUSA the hard questions, but trust me, it's not because they're fighting for the defense. They're going to give the defense the business too. That's what they do. They make you fight for your stuff. They're not just going to give it to you, and they're not going to come up with arguments for you. They're not going to argue your case for you. They're not going to do anything. You need to be prepared to argue with yourself. The Empress, thank you for being a member for 6 months. You said, thank you, Pam, always on the beat. I appreciate that. Anthony said Trump has been injected into this case. You thought he wasn't? You thought he wasn't? I mean, what better example would they use than the next president of this here United States of America? Come on now. We want to hear about these communications. Like, girl, you doing this too much. All right, let me go back. Let me stop sharing and start all over. X is sick of me. Won't even reload on here. I don't know why this won't even reload. Wait a minute. Let me see if it's coming up on here. They kicked me off like, girl, you getting all the free deets. Okay, Combs' lawyer Shapiro. This is covered by the First Amendment. Messages they point to are not instructions to lie. There is a barrage of negative media coverage. He has the right to respond to that. And the judge said, why not through counsel? Shapiro said, we're happy to do that. So the judge told him he don't need to be talking to nobody. He needs to do it through counsel. Why not do it through counsel is what he asked. And so Shapiro said, we have no problem. We know his attorney doesn't have a problem talking. His attorney needs to stop talking, honestly. But hey, who am I? I'm trying to see. Because I wonder why it's not coming back on my laptop, though. Oh, there it go. Pull it up. Thought they booted me out. I was like, dang. You know, I say the Trump name and all type of things happen. Combs' lawyer Shapiro said, but we're lawyers. It's not really what we do. Yeah, okay. She said, we're lawyers. We don't go in front of the media. That's not really our jobs to go in front of the media. What? She said, it's not really what we do. Some of these recordings show that he's telling people just to tell the truth. Talk with my lawyers. The judge said, victim 3, you're saying the communications are fine? Shapiro said, yes. Same on witness 1 and 2. Now the lawyers don't want to talk. If y'all don't cut it out. Oh, Jesus. I'm not. I can't. Judge, can we just get to it? Just tell us what you're gonna do, okay? Like it's been like an hour. We've been through all of the shenanigans. Just tell us what you plan on doing, Judge. You already know what you're gonna do. Just let us know. Let me see. She said, but we're lawyers. That's not what we do. Oh, lady, if you don't cut it out. That was the last one. Thank you so much, Bible Lady, for the super chat. She said, one can chat less than 800. Hit that. Yes, please hit that thumbs up, please. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I know a lot of people are covering this matter. The judge said, what about the communications that are missing? Agnafilio said, witness 1 reached out to Mr. Combs' counsel and asked us for a lawyer. We didn't do anything along those lines because it was an odd request. I don't know the factual answer. And the judge said, well, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Or how do you not know? I don't know. Looked like they might have did a typo. I mean, he is trying to hurry up and type. You know what I'm saying? How do you know or how do you not know? I'm not sure. I guess we have to see what the response is. I would be giving, if I was tweeting this, I'll be doing C for Combs, A for the AUSA, and you guys will have to, so you guys will know which one is where. I wouldn't be typing out Combs lawyer Shapiro. That takes too long. Unless he somehow has a way to tweet where it's already in there. I'm not a Twitter person, so maybe there's some way that you can do it fast, but I'll be shorthanding, like, y'all figure it out. Still. You know, if they actually let him out on bond, they'll be waiting by the MDC doors for when he gets released. Still don't have the next tweet yet. Y'all know I was looking for a flight this morning. I was like, if I get done by 10, they had a 10:30 flight. I was like, I have a hearing at 8:30. If I go to the airport and I do the hearing because it's on Zoom in the car, I can blur out the background and then I could just take the shot. I was trying to figure it out, but I'm glad I didn't because I really was about to get that ticket because I ended up waiting for like 2 hours for my hearing. It was like 40 people in front of me. So I probably would have missed the flight anyway, but I sure was trying. I was like, this is going to bother me that I'm not going to be there and I got to wait on somebody else's rendition of what's going on. The judge said, "How did you not know?" And then Combs' lawyer, Garrigo, said, "There was a message from Mr. Combs to witness one. I'd like to give it to you under seal. AUSA Foster may know it does not give rise to the level of obstruction. I do not have the actual message." So this is the other attorney, Garrigos. So they got all the attorneys up there talking. Everybody's making their money today. So up here where it said, "How do you know?" No, I guess that's supposed to be, "How do you know?" Just one time. And the judge said, "How did you not know?" Or maybe he he got the asterisk, so he corrected it. So the Agnafilio said, "I don't know the factual answer." And the judge said, "How did you not know?" And then Combs' lawyer, Garrigo, said, "There was a message from Mr. Combs to witness one. I'd like to give it to you under seal. AUSA Foster may know." And you guys, that's AUSA is Assistant U.S. Attorney, for those that don't know. "Foster may know it does not give rise to the level of obstruction. I do not have the actual message." So that's the correct reading of that, because he had a typo because he just did his asterisk. Hey, Queen Brielle, good to see you. Man, first I was trying, man. I was like, I was looking last night. Dad was looking at me like, "You do too much." So he ain't say it out loud, but I heard him like, "No, like, girl, you do too much." I'm like, "No, I'm just, everything I do, I want to do it in the level of greatness, even if it's YouTube, you know?" And I was just like, since I'm covering it, I just wanted to be there so that I can accurately report. Or sometimes as an attorney, there are things that are important to me that I know it's important from being in the shoes of these attorneys. And so I may capture different things that other people don't capture. Because I noticed even with certain other cases that I've covered and other people are in the courtroom and they covered them, they look for things that are like surface. Like, you know, I may describe what the person has on or their demeanor, but it doesn't become a big portion of what I report. It's just, you know, but they may think something is more important based off of a one-liner that they thought was like, "Ooh, the judge roasted them" or something. But for me, like I told you guys, I know the judges are going to berate you just like they berate the other person. There is no favoritism. Everybody can get it. And at the end of the day, the judge knows what he's going to do anyway. So then Combs' lawyer Garrigo said, "My client obeys me." What? "My client obeys me. For example, on victim 3, he stopped using ASAP and other phone lines. The messages with witness 1 were pre-arrest. He obeys us. He came to New York in the BOP. When I tell him not to do something, he doesn't." They probably over there like, "Who you talking about? Obey. You lucky I want to get out here and eat this turkey and dressing in these greens, because I'll slip you a note." Obey? What? Do you know who I am? Do you know I'm the king of New York? Do you know who I am? I run this city. You don't remember that I run this city? Then he says, "Shoot, whatever they say, Judge, that it's gonna fly today. I'm obedient on today. I'm just trying to get home and eat good with my family for the holiday. Please, Judge, please." You said that's not flying with the judge, lady attorney. He about to catch pneumonia with all that talking. Shay B said Diddy obeys no one. Shoot, he will today to get up out of there. Heck yeah. He like, "Yes, sir. What you need me to do?" "Yes, sir." Oh, this done happened again. I done refreshed it too much. Okay, let me pull it up on my phone. He like, shoot. And he like, I'm gonna let this slide because that's how much I'm tired of eating these dry bologna sandwiches up in here. So then they say, Combs' lawyer Shapiro says, I submit that the charges in the Jeffries Abercrombie case are worse than here. They allege an international ex-trafficking business. They were raped and forced to engage in anal sex. Eastern District of New York says it at docket 9. So now they getting on the Abercrombie. Let's see if I could get this to work again. They sweating in there. It's been a minute for this hearing. Shoot, they are in there working. They are making all their money today trying to get their client up out of there. Okay. We don't even talk about Eric Adams anymore, huh? Oh, it still ain't work. Darn it. Pull it up. Dang, this is a long hearing. This mug is taking a little minute. Inner City Press. Come on, Inner City Press. I don't see nothing new. You guys keep talking amongst each other now. Nothing's happening outside yet. I'm looking outside of the courthouse too. Let's see. It's not working on here. Let me put this up here. Put this up here while I try to read this.
Mommy, where's the remote for my TV?
It should be in your room.
What about the
People on here talking about free Diddy. If they don't cut it out. All right. I might need one of y'all to come on here and keep up with these tweets. Oop. Somebody go to Inner City Press and make sure the last tweet that I did is the last tweet. The last tweet that I talked about. We'll have to do a collective effort here. Because I know 6 minutes ago was a long time to wait to tweet again. Let's see. Oh, here go one. No, that's all that's on here. Wait a minute. I think he should get bond to fight the charity. You said he's been released. Huh? Hold on. Okay. This is stressing me out. Combs lawyer Shapiro. While in Jeffries, one defendant is 80 and the other 71, Mr. Combs is 55. I hate to say it, that's not that young. The judge said the U.S. suggests he won't follow conditions. Shapiro said these conditions are more restrictive than in prison. Is that the last one you guys got? They still out here arguing it out if his tweets are up to date, because that's that 20. Oh, Lisa. I'm like, what? I mean, he wouldn't go home right then anyway. You have to go through the whole process. But okay, so you said yeah. Okay. Which one want to come up here and co-commentate with me? Because here. If anyone would like to be the co-host of today's Diddy, will he get bail and go home for the holidays? Hit the link. Because this is stressing me out. I'm still trying to answer emails and thing want to load sometimes and it don't load. Like, oh, man. You don't have to cam up if you come on here. Just cam up in the back so I know you ain't just, gonna come up here and bomb my thing. So then it has Mr. Agnifilio, where is the home he'd be held in? Agnifilio said, I don't want to give the address. It's on Star Island. There's a causeway. There's a dock, but there would be no boat. Judge said, that's not going to work. We're in New York. Judge said, hell no, you're not about to be on no island with no water and no boats. He said, yeah, he live on Star Island in Miami. That's why I was like, Judge was like, that's not going to work. Where would he be in New York? Here. Judge like, one moment, Judge. And you guys renting out houses in New York? Remember, he couldn't find a place to rent. He said, oh, gosh. One moment, Judge. One moment. Just let us confer. We'll find a place. You sound like you're going to let him out? Let's find him a place. Let me see. Let me see on here. Okay. Combs' lawyer said there is an apartment on the Upper East Side. We have one available, 3 bedrooms. The judge said, where are the 24/7 security going to be? Agnophilia said, would you like to speak to him or me? It's Patriot Security. They merged with Crisis 24. Judge trying to get information. Don't be shocked. Okay. Yeah, really be. We need you, okay, sis? We need you. I know you're driving. You don't have to cam up. You got your earpiece, but we need you in this moment. I can't believe Tracy ain't coming up here. Tracy, where are you at, sis? We need backup for the reading of these tweets. Agnophilia said there'll be 2 security guards in the apartment and 1 downstairs, so a total of 3. No access to phones or the internet except for calls with counsel arranged by the security personnel. This is more restrictive than the MDC. Is Diddy going home, y'all? Hold up. Don't his mama still have a house in Mount Vernon, New York? Oh, I don't know. Christine said, remember, I stated he will get out with closely monitored. Go back and look at my messages. Listen, I prepared y'all, okay, with the evidence. That's all my job was. You guys, I present all the evidence on both sides, and then you come to the conclusion. That's why I did the poll. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Agnophilia said Mr. Combs would avoid all contact with anyone who may be a witness. I think he has a right to do that, but I want to make it as easy for the court as possible. We are going to investigate thoroughly before the May 5th trial. He has a right to assist. They selling it now. The defense is like, wait a minute, the judge is entertaining it, not just straight up cutting me down like the other lawyer. The other judge, they were like, oh, shoot. Listen, he ain't going to have access to the internet. He ain't contacting nobody. You don't have to worry about him. Even though he has the right to somewhat talk to witnesses to defend his case, to be there. But nope, he don't even got to do that. We'll do it for him, Judge. Just let him go home. Sure, you said, didn't the judge come from bankruptcy court? I don't care where he came from. He got a federal lifetime job. Shoot. those cushions you got appointed by one of these here presidents of the United States. Let me see. Oh, see, I knew I should have been there. Dang it. And then let's see. Oh, that was the last one. That was a minute ago. I guess I'm anxious. The man is probably like, dang, Pam, can I type? You gonna give me a chance to type, ma'am? Let's see. All right, y'all taking too long. The judge said the government is saying Mr. Combs will be paying these people. That's what y'all just said in the chat. Will be paying these people. It comes down to trust. The Combs lawyer said it's a different relationship. These are professionals that are only going to be in his life for 8 months. It's a high profile case. So the judge said what y'all saying. CNN said he ended up getting bail. Told y'all. I told y'all to be ready for it. I looked at all the documents. You guys saw the documents. And that's just what it is. I try to prepare you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to go to CNN and see what they say. I don't see CNN on here. Hey, Tracy.
Did Jeffries free Diddy?
Did Jeffries free Diddy? The judge said the government is saying, I don't see nothing updated on this stuff. Do you see something else updated? Dude, are you moving too slow?
I do not.
Man. They keep saying CNN and saying that he got bail. I don't know about that. Somebody go to CNN. We trying to get up to the minute. That's where that link is for really be. You driving?
I'm on CNN right now. Let's see what they say.
Okay.
Let's see what they say. I don't see nothing on here.
CNN is live right now. Let me see. Let's see what they talking. They outside though. The one on that can't be no, because it's raining there. It's too dry, right? Because see, that's why I said a lot of these people are sharing. They're sharing older. Let's see. You said nothing yet. See, y'all. This chat. You guys got my nerves bad.
I don't see nothing, but I think Jeffries might send him home.
This next one says he's been in jail for 66 days. That's Ignafilio. Without a laptop. He only got one a few hours ago. What is unique here is to have waited 9 weeks to get laptop into the MDC. And the judge said, the solution is for you to come to me. We can call these hearings, which gets things done. So now he's trying to add, I guess, the laptop, like, is another reason. It's like the judge is like throwing it out, throwing like the bait, and then like reeling it in. Like, maybe not. Maybe not.
It did sound like he was entertaining the idea. It did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Y'all think Diddy will act a fool if the judge was like, nah, never mind, you going back to jail?
If the judge says I'm gonna take it under advisement, that's what somebody said. That will really be bold to us as the public. I really like. Can you let us know what's going on here? So the court Combs lawyer said, I have a whole presentation ready about the tape, but if you've got enough, I can save everyone 15 minutes. So then the judge said, I have reviewed it. Who is here from pretrial services? And pretrial services said, we maintain conditions insufficient. So pretrial services is there, and it sounds like they might be against him getting out too. They said, we maintain the conditions insufficient. What else can he do? Like, he basically is saying, I'm going to be in jail at my house. What else can he do though? Not talk, ask the Lord to take away his speech. Like, what else can he really do? You got 24-hour security. You're on a tether. You're having cameras all around that the government has the right to really to look at. I mean, I guess he can write notes and pass them to people. Nobody can hear that. But what else could you do really? Like to secure, if that's the case, you're saying that basically there's no type of bond that can keep them, is what they're saying. I don't know. I guess I need to stay out the chat because somebody in there was like,
I mean,
they did try to say that he already got it per CNN, but
what if they put him in a halfway house? Is that
that's
better?
an idea. No, because then they gonna say he in there running the halfway house. You see what they saying about the jail? People begging to make his bed. Like that's the headlines. people begging to let him use their PIN codes. Guess what, bro? Diddy use my PIN code.
I mean,
Guess
if Diddy
what?
paying, I could see. I mean, Diddy probably paying to use a PIN code. I can see people looking like, listen, it's a quick little come up.
There's people that don't talk on the phone at all, right? Like they don't have family, so they like, I can make money off of you. Cool. Judge said, have there been other cases with private guards? Pretrial said, not that I'm aware. And then the guy from Inner City said, no, there was in the UN corruption case of NG Lap Singh, and he got massages with door closed while confined in Dag Hammarskjöld apartment. So this journalist is like, yep, I got a case. He back there. He might want to slide it to Diddy, you know. I'm surprised they didn't come with their own case law to back the security guards. Like, why would you not come with your own case if that's what you're saying you're willing to do? I don't know. You say he is in general population. They having a field day in his spot. Probably over there dancing. I don't know. Young boy acted a fool in federal house arrest. I can only imagine what Diddy can do. Lisa Jones said Diddy doesn't have, CNN doesn't have any news on the bailout. Okay. So somebody was just saying whatever in my chat.
Mm-hmm. So would it be?
Hey, Anita says CNN News 18 had he's to be released in their title since this morning. That channel has been clickbaiting for weeks.
Oh.
Okay.
Would it be uncommon for a judge to take a bail request under advisement?
No. I mean, I've never seen them do it. Either they allow it or they don't, because that's an immediate situation, whether you should get out or whether you're being wrongfully detained. Now, it may take a little longer because what he's proposing is a creative package. This is very creative.
Oh, so like one of those, give me 15 minutes, I'm going to come back type of?
Yeah. It's very creative, so it may take them a minute to. That was the last one. You see anything else? You still keeping your eye on the tweets?
I sure am.
Okay. I got to check my emails right quick.
Not the Daily Mail talks some. Okay. Diddy blows kisses, forms prayer sign, and taps his heart. I'm done with the Daily Mail.
Consider witness one a participant in multiple freak-offs. This is the AUSA. Said, consider witness one a participant in multiple freak-offs. Defendant continued to contact witness one after counsel was retained. The Instagram post was planned for a week using Contact Me ASAP and other inmate codes. Okay, that seemed random with the AUSA. They like, it looked like they trying to let him out. Let me jump up and argue some more. They probably going all out of time. Whoa, hold on, Judge. It sounds like you trying to get him a little bit of a leeway. Let me talk some more. Let's see. Somebody else got another source. Maybe we should be looking at somebody else's too. They actually put the link to the Amazon for the case. You got to be a journalist, sir, over here at Inner City Press. He put the link. If you guys want to see someone who had a similar case or similar bail package with security guards, here it is. The United Nations corruption case.
The inner city press has not let us down yet for the tweets. I will definitely say that. Consistency.
He is definitely I give him my offering. I'm like, sir, you deserve it.
I was tempted to join his Patreon. I was like, listen, the way you putting in work, sir.
He is, because he's covering a couple of cases at the Southern District. So sometimes what happens is these journalists get assigned to a specific court. And so this is probably, he's an independent. So I believe so. That's why he asked for, what is all this motions?
Did he do it?
Oh, shucks. Guess I'll be working all weekend. That sucks. New update.
Yep. Sure do.
Who has a new update?
The inner city press.
What is it? What does it say? Say it.
The family member said the lawyer said not to do it, and the defendant responded, "I don't care. It's my birthday." Judge, Mr. Shapiro says sharing codes is common, and the conduct was covered by the First Amendment. AUSA, okay. Handbook prohibits this. Okay, so I guess the judge ain't too mad about sharing codes either.
I told y'all it ain't that deep. I was like, okay, his family members, that's from the AUSA. His family members, really B, hit the link.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it down twice.
Yeah, really B, tell us about them codes that you used to get calls from.
His family member said the lawyer say not to be it, and the defendant responds, "I don't care, it's my birthday." That's from the AUSA. So I guess the member said his family member said the lawyers say not to do it. Oh, so the family members told him the lawyer said don't be posting. And I guess Diddy was like, "I don't care, it's my birthday. We gonna post for that." And hold on. Hey, Really B. And
hey,
then,
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Then the judge said Ms. Shapiro said sharing codes is common and the conduct was covered by the First Amendment. The AUSA said BOP handbooks prohibited. So Ms. Shapiro is saying that it's common, however, the handbook does prohibit it. So that was the last tweet they had on there. What you have to say, Really B?
I told y'all that nigga was coming home.
Girl, don't be using that language on my platform.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, Pam, my bad. I told y'all that young gentleman. I told y'all that young gentleman was coming home.
I ain't say be that nice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did. You were one of the ones that said it, but we'll see. They ain't told him he can come home yet.
I believe he is coming home. Yeah, I believe he's coming home. His trial starting in 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless the AUSA gonna pull something real big out their pocket.
I told you they weren't really saying anything to me. I know y'all was mad at me, but I was like, this is a little weak. You said a lady 747 said, "I guess cheating on your taxes ain't that deep either." I don't know what that's associated to, but
so here's the thing, and Pam, I don't know why it's not connecting to my earpiece, but let me know if it's a problem, y'all. I understand how people feel about Diddy. I get it. Like, I don't think anybody is justifying or defending Diddy, but when you look at the facts and you look at what he got versus other people in the statute, like, honestly, the reality of the situation is he should have gotten bail. Like, he really should have the first time.
I think that's why I said I've been trained not to have my emotions in it, so I don't expect other people to be that way. That's the only way I can. That's why I just give it and tell you why I think the way that I think. Because I can, if it's emotional, because people will say if it's your family or if you feel this way, if it was your daughter that went through that, you wouldn't feel the same way, you know, that you do. I'm doing it from a professional standpoint. I don't represent my family because
I
I
don't
know
think, but I
because
don't think
I
that's a
know that
fair.
I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Mm.
can't. I'm saying from a professional standpoint, I can totally look at the law and the facts. That's what I'm trying to do. So the emotions that is out of it. Do I know if I could do it if it was my family or somebody close to me? I don't know if I can. That's why I don't represent family or friends on anything major. If it's just some type of contract or something or landlord tenant, then yeah. But if you're talking about something where your life is on the line, meaning you can go to prison for a long, long time, I can't guarantee that I will be objective. And I think a lot of people just look at things from an emotional standpoint. So I try to, you know, get them to look at it different. So it's another update that says defendant has used at least 8 inmate codes. He's bought them. The judge said they say Contact Me ASAP operates through TrueLink Trust Fund Limited Inmate Computer System. The AUSA said it's not permitted. And the Jeffries one is detained. Judge said a foreign national. Because you know, in the Jeffries case, the only one that went was the only one that got detained was the one that is from the UK. The other two, one got 10 million Jeffries, and then his partner, I guess, got 500,000.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a fair analysis. I mean, analogy when people say, well, if it was your child, you're not defending him. You're not saying, you're not giving an opinion about how you feel about him. What you're saying is based on the facts and based on your professional opinion, this is what you're coming up with. So I don't think it's fair to say, well, if it was your child, you wouldn't feel that way. I don't think that's a fair
People
statement
do
to make.
but people do it all the time, and that's why I said it. Like they've done it in the courthouse. You know, like how
Oh, I
dare you?
know.
They don't deserve rights. They don't deserve for me to do my job. I should just throw in the towel. And that's why I was making the analogies of how people. It's interesting how when people like someone, because if they
But
like then at this point, a lot of people probably half like Diddy anyway. They may have liked his music, but he's shown his arrogance and being a butthole before any of this. So a lot of people really was probably walking the line anyway, and then seeing the video and all of that just took them over. So now you just don't like them as a person. So just like when you don't like somebody and you hear something bad about them and you just really want to believe that everything bad they said about them is true because you don't like that person. That's
right, exactly.
and that's what they're doing with this case. I just say stick to the facts and the law. And when it comes to the government, if you got what you say you got, because they keep saying piles and piles and piles, then just come on with it. That's
You,
it.
you know what I think? Because when you look at the Jeffries case and you look at Diddy's, it's like they were doing identical things, like
Yeah.
identical, for about the same amount of time. With if you're looking at the lawsuits, about the same amount of people. Actually, Jeffries has more people named than Diddy currently has, right?
Yeah.
So he
In
has
the
more
indictment.
people.
Mm-hmm.
He has more people named than Diddy currently has. So, so I'm like, if you're looking at it like that, it's like if this person deserves bail, then that one does. Or why don't we just be even and say, well, take his bail back and go lock him up? I
Mel
feel
said
like
he's literally breaking the law with those calls. That is not you. See, that's what I'm saying. Then y'all exaggerate what's going on. No, breaking the rules, perhaps,
yeah.
of the BOP handbook. Yeah.
Listen, do you know how
They
many?
have their own internal disciplinary systems where you can get charges while you're in there and go through their due process and end up being in certain levels and getting phone restrictions taken from you. Like that's an internal thing. That's not like they're gonna go, we're gonna charge you now with using the phone and add that to your indictment. Like that's not how that goes. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of stuff is just people want to believe it so they can't see anything past their beliefs. And I understand that. Some people are just, I mean, that's just what it is. So then AUSA said this is more similar to the cases where detention was ordered. And don't use R. Kelly. You knew that was coming. R.
Lord have
Kelly,
mercy.
Keith Raniere. Remember Keith Raniere? I don't know if y'all saw the sex cult dude. He was on American Greed. And Larry Ray. And then, of course, you know, he put the book on there because, you know, Inner City does not play. He will let you know.
Where you can go look right here.
So now they're comparing, which they should have. If you're gonna argue it, you should have been argued that. Like the real comparison should be R. Kelly or so. But see, they did the same thing. R. Kelly, I guess R. Kelly would be a little bit dangerous because they threw in a RICO too, but they just didn't do a RICO for Jeffries. Like, how was his not a RICO? I mean, somebody did the RICO. It just depends on who it is when the RICO statute applies. Because how do you have all these different individuals all over the world and you have someone recruiting and you got staff members that's a whole enterprise.
Listen, if you picking the people up, flying the people other places, and giving them little pokes in a Peter whackers to make them do stuff, I mean, it sounds like enterprise to me. But hey, what do I know?
That's all I'm saying. I mean, they did charge R. Kelly with it, but that don't mean that Jeffries doesn't amount to it when you really look at it. I don't know. Somebody said Diddy's more dangerous than R. Kelly.
It's okay.
Is it okay? So is Diddy more dangerous than R. Kelly because Diddy currently still has the funds, and at the time they got R. Kelly, he didn't have the same funds that he had? Because R. Kelly wasn't broke, but R. Kelly didn't have the same money that he used to have. So is that why we're saying he's more, because he has more funds for more access?
Okay, hold on. We got another update. The judge said, I suggest both parties put in letters by Monday at noon. Child, sound like we ain't gonna have no answer today about what type of communications Mr. Combs may engage in. Monday at noon. I see people from the second row standing up. Combs' lawyer, Tony Rico, we had to email for a week to get him a file folder. Huh? What does this got to do with anything? I suggest both parties put in letters by Monday at noon about what type of communications Mr. Combs may engage in. So now they like, well, how is he going to communicate at all? Like, what can he actually do and can't do? Monday at noon, I see people from the second row standing up. So maybe people was like, oh, they ain't letting them out. Let me get up out of here. Is that what he's saying? Combs' lawyer, Tony Rico, said we had to email for a week to get him a file folder. So they're complaining about him not, the communication with him in jail is what it sounds like right now. Child, this is the longest bond hearing ever in life. What is this?
So back again on Monday.
Right, what is happening right now?
I guess they said, listen, Thanksgiving ain't till Thursday. Y'all got some time. So
also the prior, I mean, they keep talking about the stuff in there. So look at the prior tweet, Tracy. This is too much. Shoot. I mean, it's the holiday next week. Y'all still doing this for the holiday? With email and stuff?
Mr. Combs' lawyer, his adult children are willing to obey. He's not a lawless person. I don't know about that. He spends hours at the MDC. We spend hours at the MDC. Mr. Combs was writing down what I said. He is not out of control. The DOJ is responsible for the MDC. The calls from me all the time, and I hang up.
Combs' lawyer said okay, that's what you just read. They still talking about him not basically it seems like they're hammering in on the fact that he's not able to craft his defense and really thoroughly engage because of just all the issues with communication and the timing and how the MDC is. And so he's talking to children, he's talking to whatever, because he has such limitations. They're restricting him even further than what the restrictions are supposed to be, and he's finding other avenues in order to talk and get his points out and call his lawyers. And so they're trying to say he's not a lawless person. Yeah, that's not something that I would have said. Rico.
Did we
That's
not
just
just listen
saying
to a
any
three-way
dang
call?
old thing.
Listen,
Huh?
did we not listen to a three-way call in the YSL case? I mean, didn't he call his mama and the mama called the person? They was on the phone talk. Was that not a three-way call? And he was like, "I'm about to get off the phone." Was that not a three-way call on the YSL?
Yeah, on YSL it was. Just like
Oh,
it is
okay.
on everybody's. Yeah, everybody
Oh,
does that.
okay. But YSL needed to go home because they wasn't doing nothing wrong though.
Uh-huh. The people are leaving the courtroom looking at law and crime. Okay, so what, they coming back? What is happening?
Look, they told you Monday
They said come back on
at
Monday.
noon. Monday at noon.
So the Combs lawyer, Rico, said he has access to cell phones in the MDC, but not under our conditions. He fights, he kicks, he makes phone calls. This can be addressed. Thank you. What? The judge said we're going to get a decision out prompt next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we still don't know. Judge said he's taking it under advisement. He's thinking about it. Hey, Pam, I hope I helped a little. I have to go. Thank you so much, KK Scorpio. I appreciate it.
I mean, I guess this is probably the most hope Diddy has had in a little while.
No, I agree. Thank you. I appreciate the Cash App.
Now, is there a way we can get somebody's bail taken back? Because how Jeffries is out and about, I just need to understand.
The only way he's gonna be taken is if, didn't we just learn that in what is that, Jesse Smollett? You can't make promises and then just take them back unless he violates or something. You know, perhaps if he violates, then yeah, let's see. Let's see if something else happened out here. Okay. I think they coming right outside or no?
Oh, the kid's definitely about to run to the car.
About to run to the car.
Mm-hmm.
The lady said, do inmates get punished for violating that rule? Not typically, no. People do it all the time. I know that's not, it's one of those rules that's written on paper, but nobody really follows it. I'm gonna be perfectly, I don't know anybody that has followed that rule and have not said, hey, can you call my mama on three-way? Hey, can you call this lawyer for me? Hey, can you have to kind of be as a lawyer, I just don't like talking on the phone, period, unless it's an attorney call. So yes, it happens a lot. That's why I said, to me, they blew it out of proportion. I think the judge said that. Like, it happens a lot. Now, if he's using it thinking that he's going to get somebody to do something to threaten someone, that's a whole different conversation. But just the saying, oh, he broke the rules, that means, like, they all do. Somebody probably told Diddy about it. He probably ain't even come up with that. That was literally probably someone who told him, yo, I don't use the phone, bro. I don't even use it that much. You only got 300. I only got 300 minutes. You only got 300 minutes. You can buy my minutes. And he was like, bet. Like, people, you ain't supposed to sell food stamps, but some of y'all done bought them in your life. Let's just be clear. That's against the law too. That's called Medicaid fraud. Did y'all know that?
Hey. Listen,
When
I'm
you
looking
go back,
for somebody.
I don't want nobody to make no admissions. I'm just saying that there are certain things that people don't really come. Now, sometimes they end up having to crack down on that type of fraud. But for the most part, That's just
Listen,
nothing that people really come after.
listen. The eating holiday is coming up. If somebody outside of the grocery store and they need a little something, hit me up because I sure need some. If anybody would like to, help a sister out, I wouldn't mind. Thank you very much.
Some of y'all plan on doing it right now because holiday coming up. Don't sit
Mm-hmm.
up high.
Sure
Don't like
is.
you gonna be right
Listen,
behind
I'm
them in that
looking.
cart, getting that turkey and that ham.
I'm
Don't play
looking.
no games. But
I'm
you're not
looking.
supposed to do it. Absolutely not. They should hold you out on bond. Half of y'all should be in on bail and not get bail and be detained because you broke the rules. Nah, but that's actually against the law. What they're talking about with Diddy is breaking like house rules that you're not supposed to do it. So that is two different things. But I was just, trying to
Not
drive my
saying, not saying that I know lots of inmates or whatever. Just saying I've gotten a few three-way calls in my lifetime, or I've gotten a lot of calls from Tony and it ended up being John, and you're like, who
You're like,
number
what?
are you calling me on? Like,
Yeah. That's all
you
I You say it's about being fair across the board. Don't make it an issue because of him. That's all I feel like using that as an issue. If he was threatening people, I'll be feeling him. Like I say, you know what? He's using it. Yeah, we know that other people do it. Because I'm telling you, if the judge asked the AUSA, is he like the only one that has done that you've heard of in your career? Has it been 20 people, 30 people, like went up and really asked about that? It would just blow it out the water because she would probably be like, well, pretty much everybody that, I've come in contact with. So that's why I was saying a lot of their stuff just appeared weak to me, but that's just me.
You know what I was honestly thinking? I was honestly thinking they was gonna come with one of the calls where he used someone else's number, and it was just gonna be
Right.
like, and I was gonna be like, oh, Diddy.
Yeah. That
That's
would have
what I
been
was.
like the big joker, man. They came to
Mm-hmm.
court with the big joker, like, Your Honor, can we press play? And then it'll be one of the calls. And then one of the calls, he's actually like, yo, I want you to go knock on witness 5's door, throw them this envelope under the door, and put on there, don't talk on the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Like
Listen, I need you to Kid Cudi number 7's SUV. Like what? Like something like that. We need to like oh wow. That's what I honestly was thinking. I was like, they have to have like something big on the call. Because why do you care about them using someone else's number? You paying for the calls anyway. So I just knew it had to be something on the call, but apparently
how the judge just ended it with letters Monday adjourned.
That's all. That's all.
That's all. If you guys would like to support Inner City Press, since we were all up in their tweets today, they do have their information over there. I don't know how to do double screens, or I will put it on here as well. I'll put the thing on here. They got a PayPal, it looks like. Yeah, they have a PayPal. And they also have like a Patreon. Is there anything in the Patreon that's like additional?
They do documents.
Oh, okay. Probably like the same stuff we have already.
But I guess you pay one flat fee and you can get all the documents. But hey, whatever. I guess it works if you don't want to get an account or try and look something up or find something.
Because you have to pay for the documents. That these documents aren't free, y'all, that I'm pulling up. It does cost money.
They definitely do. Which is why at some point you stop pulling Diddy lawsuits because they all sound the same from certain attorneys.
Busby.
I was like, they're all the same.
Well, the first 15, 16 pages are the same, and then they do like 1 or 2 pages worth of facts. And then that's
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well,
now they're gonna watch everybody coming out this door. This is what we do for the last 30 minutes. We like stalk people, and we try to see who's gonna come up and talk and say something.
It's gonna be listen. The kids and the mom are gonna run out. They gonna run out to their house.
Their sunglasses on. Man, listen, I don't know. This is the most hope that Diddy's gotten, though. The judge looks like he's actually entertaining it. So this is the most. Before the judge was like, wasn't even like blinking twice. Was like, nope, it's a no for me. This is a newer judge on the bench. He hasn't been on for that long. I think he's only been on for a couple of years, a year or two. And so I was honestly thinking that perhaps he would just go with the flow because he's new and you don't really want to shake tables up like that. But I guess he said he's going to be thorough with whatever he comes up with.
I honestly, like, once I seen the Jeffries things, I was like, and you out of New York too? I was like, did he need bail? Like, I was like, I was like, but I was like, I wonder if the reason why he got, why Jeffries got it and Diddy didn't is just because who knew who this Abercrombie and Fitch man was? Like, his name isn't as notable. You don't hear his name and be like, oh, I know him. But Diddy, everybody's like, I know that name. I know that. Like, is it more the notoriety that comes with his name that is also another one of the reasons why it was like, no, keep you in jail. Keep you in jail. I was like, because I just couldn't understand how they're so similar, but it's so different.
Yeah, I think they're trying to say it's different, but it's really not. I think it is the notoriety of it because he was a powerful person. And a lot of people, if you look at people like Clive Davis, we know he's powerful and we know who he is, but is he a person that goes around and is in everybody's video? No.
Yeah.
Is he a person that tries to be a part of the tour and jump off on stage? No. He's like not trying to interfere as being the face of it. He likes the business portion of it. So, and I think that's what more akin to what Abercrombie and Finch the guy is that he's more into behind the scenes. He's not trying to be the face of anything. And so even though he was a multimillionaire, had a big enterprise going on with whatever, was alleged that was happening around the world, nobody was checking for him like that. The only people that was checking for him is the people that were trying to be models for Abercrombie and Finch. Nobody. With Diddy, everybody wanted, it didn't matter. You would have politicians, you would have, music is a universal language and it goes across ethnic barriers, religious barriers. So everybody from 8 to 80, blind, crippled, like everybody, like who would come to a Diddy event? You didn't mind being a part of it. And Diddy put himself out there. Then he ventured out into liquor. Then he had clothing. He was just everywhere. So Abercrombie, he just stayed in his little lane, just like Epstein did. Stayed in your little lane, and then so all of it, I think, notoriety.
You know who they all have ties to?
Who?
Wes Lexner, the Victoria's Secret Bath and Body Works man. Him, the owner, that man. Oh yeah, he owns Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works. He owns all of them. Yeah, he got ties to every last one of them. Diddy, Epstein.
Oh, there go your girl. Remember her from Whitehead's case?
Yes.
That's Whitehead's attorney right there. She's still over there at the Southern District. Trying to help people get free.
Wait. Whitehead. Did she say she might jump on Diddy case too? Because Whitehead said he that famous. His attorney could be on Diddy's team too, because he roll in them same circle.
Yeah, she does typically represent rappers, and so she represented Tekashi 6ix9ine, I think, didn't she? Was it Tekashi? Yeah, she's representing. So that's why he wanted her, because Whitehead thought he was famous, so he had to get an attorney that was known to represent famous. And she actually was a decent attorney. She just never really did much on Whitehead's case. She had her associates doing it. And they basically did. It sounded like whatever he told them to do. He would write notes, whisper in their ear, and they would just go up and pretty much say it. But she actually is. When she was up there, to me, I thought she was a good attorney. She crossed very well. You said Victoria's Secret CEO was Epstein's best friend. Okay.
Listen, they all got
I don't know none of these people, but I know this.
he's been attached to Diddy. He's been attached to Epstein. He's attached to Jeffries guy because he the person who got Jeffries the job at Abercrombie and Fitch. So I'm like, sir, you got ties to a lot of people who got a lot of these type of cases going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just need to go back and see if I can figure out how far Jeffries and Diddy's house was from each other in the Hamptons, because I feel like they might have been, connecting neighbors, so they just ignored each other's noises that was coming.
I need you guys to get on your research, okay? We need to know, will Diddy get bail? Will he not get bail? What is the relationship between the two, if any? We need to know. Let me see, Diddy. What are they saying on these other, let me see these other platforms. They put standby live report from P. Diddy court soon. That's all they got on law crime. I guess they're not going to sit up there and chit chat like we do with you guys. They're like, stand by. Stand by. We'll see if anything else happens. Okay. Stand by.
I mean, at some point,
well, for those of you, a lot of you guys weren't here at the beginning. So I did go over the what's that guy's name? Michael Jeffries from Abercrombie and Finch. His name has come up a lot because he is out on $10 million bond with way less restrictions. So I did go over that. Is that somebody coming out? That's somebody? No, can't tell. So we did go over that and just the government's reasoning why they felt like there was a difference between Jeffries' case and Diddy's, which I told you guys didn't seem very powerful to me, especially if you just look at what the government said in the Eastern District related to it. The difference really is, and this is what his attorney said. His attorney should have said, rather, if I was his attorney, I would have said, Your Honor, the difference is they decided to make a press release of an indictment with every little detail, including the day, the hour, and the color of the sky. However, for Jeffries, they were very clear cut and succinct on what he did, and they actually named 16 victims. I had to put it in. 16, yes. They have victim 1, which was premised on one complaint. You're talking about Jeffries, who has a whole proposed class actions of hundreds of people that are saying over decades they were being abused and they were forced to take drugs and they were kidnapped going. Now, they didn't use the word kidnap in the indictment, but if someone is drugged, they're raped and then thrown in a car and on a plane to go to another country, that is called kidnapping. If someone has a bunch of people who are aiding and abetting and assisting them, they can't do it by themselves. You had a certain person that was recruiting people. You had a certain person that was actually trying them out first to make sure that they would fit and that Jeffries would like them. It was a whole enterprise. Just because the indictment doesn't use the word enterprise does not mean that it is not an enterprise. Man, the way I would have tore them up on that one and pulled those documents up. So I just need them to be real. That there is absolutely no difference, except perhaps you just don't like my client. And that is not a reason to deny bail. Then I'd have been all dramatic. I'd have brought my cheap glasses so I could have threw them down like, this is just an injustice. I've been all dramatic.
And then you know what happened today? He would have been going home instead of having to wait till Monday.
Then everybody would have been mad at me unsubscribing from my channel. They'd be like, we knew something was wrong with her in the first place. We're unsubscribing. It's a wrap. Y'all ain't got to worry. I don't do defense anymore at all. I try to help people get, well, I'm not going to say it all. If it gets remanded back to the trial court, if I do the prison portion of it and it gets remanded, sometimes I do end up in trial court, but taking like defendants, I don't do that anymore. She said, I'm glad you're not his lawyer. Listen, I'm just saying, that's how I would have been so disgusted. And I'd have been like, the phones, are you guys serious? This is really your argument? Your Honor, could you please ask the AUSA how many people do the exact same thing? And I would have made it clear. I understand sometimes you just have rules that are written that are never enforced. This is a rule that is written that has never been enforced. If it was enforced on a regular basis and there were consequences or it went to, it affected what their charges are or whatever, people would have stopped doing it years ago. Diddy knew about this and knew about the ASAP because people in there were using it and they told him about it. How do you think my client learned? He ain't been, when has he done prison time? He has not, Your Honor. You can talk about arrest, you can talk about whatever. Here go his people coming out. Let's see if they say something.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll be sure gonna have a tweet or the post today in his story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, walk with your grandma. Mm-hmm.
Inside with the camera? Is that Quincy taking pictures of the people taking pictures of him?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know he did like a little documentary.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. And they talk about how tasteless it was to release this documentary about you and your family with what your dad was going through. So he pulled that sucker back down.
They're gonna follow that band down the street. They're like, who else coming out the door? Oh, maybe they plan on doing a press conference.
Don't they still got a gag order?
They better watch what they say. Well, the judge kind of said, why can't you talk to your client? So maybe, listen, I hope they watch what they say because anything is going to be used against them. So they better watch what they say. We believe the judge listened to us today. This is what they should say. Let me tell you guys what the speech should be. Thank you all for coming. My client just wants to vigorously fight his case, and he wants to do it in a fair manner. We believe the judge listened to us today. He listened to all of our arguments. He listened to all the facts that has to do with bail specifically, nothing else outside of that. And we just appreciate the judge for thoroughly asking us questions. We didn't necessarily get that in the first hearings. So we're just grateful today. So we come out, of course, it would have been better if he would have been able to, come out, but at least we know that the judge is thoroughly examining the situation. And so it was a good day for Diddy. It was a good day for Mr. Combs. Any questions? No, we're not going to take any questions. Then they should just walk away. That should be it.
Don't let it be that oh God, I can't think of that man's name. His lawyer that talked too much.
Agnifilio.
Yeah, Agnifilio can't do that. You already know he can't. He ain't got it in him. He ain't got it in him.
I think a few of the things that they've said was just ridiculous. Like starting out, and perhaps it was the way it was being tweeted. So they're trying to shorthand, but to start out with the video and say about the dragging, like that's just not a video to minimize. Your Honor, he apologized because he knew he was wrong. However, as you seen from the video, it was more to the video. And when you put it in context, it doesn't excuse the behavior, but it explains the behavior. That's it. I would have never like highlighted as if he was right, because he wasn't right in any way at all. So, Your Honor, there's no excuse for that behavior. You don't never put your, I was raised, even if a woman hits me, I'm not supposed to hit him back. He could have threw that in there, so nothing. But when you are strung out or whatever was the problem, it was a lot going on back then. He is not the same person as he was back then, and he shouldn't be held to that. And we ask that Your Honor holds him to today when it comes to the bond.
I mean, but wouldn't they say that they found that pink stuff in his hotel room when they picked him up?
But that don't got nothing to do with busting her in her face, right? And did they do a drug test? Did they know it was his? Or was it somebody else's? Because it was in his hotel. It was a lot of people that were there. It was a lot of people that was there when he got arrested. Was that his pink stuff? Did they test him for drugs when he was there?
What type of drug testing they do when they arrest you?
Huh?
What type of drug testing do they do when they arrest you? He might be all right. He might be all right.
I don't know. I've never been arrested. I don't know.
Oh, I've only been held in a drunk tank once. I got held in a drunk tank once, so I'm good.
That's what I'm describing from you, Pat. That's what I'm saying. 504, you ain't going nowhere. The field reporter is on long crime, so she probably reporting a lot of the stuff that didn't happen already. The drug mule, I don't know. I think he pled, right? The guy that they pulled off the plane that was like being their Uber of drugs, I guess. DoorDash for drugs.
You know what's funny? That got handled real quiet. Didn't hear nothing else about the poor young man, and I tried to find it, and I couldn't. What does that mean? Because I tried to look for the thing, but I like nothing else was there. Nothing else was there. Like it was just like blank.
But it was a tempestuous relationship. She was beating Diddy up when we weren't looking. They don't usually run any drug tests unless it is for a suspected DUI.
Oh, see, look it, learn.
I'm just saying, just because they found it in a hotel room, do that necessarily? I mean, did they charge him with possession when he got found with it or something? Was that a part of his charges? I'm just saying it doesn't help them to minimize the video. The video was awful. That's why he felt the need to knee-jerkly go on there and do the apology, because he know it looked horrible. He know it made him look bad. There was no excuse for that. And I don't think trying to minimize it will ever help. Now, to try to give the court context, not to excuse it, but to explain it is something different. And I think that's what they should have stuck to, and then try to stay away from it, because that is the prosecution's one of their most powerful tools. So therefore, we're going to keep the judge distracted on something else that's more helpful. So let's talk about this security. Let's talk about, we got a place in Upper Manhattan for that apartment. Let's talk about, this and this and that. And then you want to try to minimize those things that they're trying to make major and magnify. And I don't, from the tweets, it just doesn't seem, I feel like the judge knows what he's going to do already. And when I look at the facts of it, it definitely wouldn't shock me. If anything, perhaps maybe if he did not get bail, I would say it was probably because of the security issues or something with the security guards and being able to really accommodate them or whatever it is. But that Jeffries situation did not help them at all, because it did show a disparity. And people have thrown up R. Kelly as well. So I was surprised they just now mentioned R. Kelly. But again, I think it may have been they kind of stayed away from it because a lot of the things Jeffries was charged with should be some more than maybe what the way they did R. Kelly. I don't know. But we'll see, y'all. Azor said, I know Miss Janice put that wig on the seat in the van. You think she was hot? They don't need me, Fuzzy Spiral. She said, yeah, they need Pam if they stand a chance. No, they don't. They don't. My point is to come over here and give different perspectives to you all over here. That's it. He doesn't deserve a Pam level defense. Shoot, as much as he paying, he deserved way better than Pam. As much as he paying. Coco Crane said, Pam, I agree. I think I do make decisions about some of these cases emotionally. Other times I feel I would treat a person better. So why should some of these folks get better treatment because of status? Okay, that's from Coco. So as soon as the court gets the letters as to what communication Diddy can have, he will be home to the 3-bedroom apartment in New York. So you think they're probably gonna let him go and don't even tell us? You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna have to leak it to the press after he's already home. Maybe they want to do it like in a secret way.
Well, don't worry. The inner city press gonna be there.
Because if the judge would have granted it today, like I said, they would be there with cameras at the MDC waiting for him to come. It'll be a whole show. Then somebody will probably follow the car to where his house is. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they're trying to do it in an undisclosed way if it happens.
Look, the inner city press gonna be there, so we gonna have all the tweets to follow. So we will be later.
You said R. Kelly's bill package. But see, R. Kelly also had, and this is how they should have responded. Remember, R. Kelly had more than one case going too. Remember, he had Chicago or Illinois case, and he had the New York case. He had like 3 cases.
And he had one in Georgia.
Yeah, he had like 3 cases going. So that was the difference too. He was currently facing out. So he had every reason to get the hell out of Dodge. He's like, let me go on the private jet.
So when is the next Nesto update?
So Nesto goes back on December 18th.
Okay.
He's supposed to go back on the 18th for some motions. He has a demurrer motion to try to get rid of the RICO. And I want you guys to have the same attitude that you guys had for YSL. Talk about how it is ridiculous how they're using this RICO charge. Okay, on everybody, even when it doesn't belong. I want y'all to have that same energy with Ernest Williams. So he's going to try to get the RICO charge dismissed before the final pre-trial or trial, whatever they call it, a plea, which is in January. He's trying to get that, and then the suppression for the vehicle. So I want you guys to have that same energy I've seen you guys have all week.
Oh, that hum wasn't for me. That wasn't my hum.
Bonito said nope.
That wasn't my hum. Because Nesto right where he need to be. Right where he need to be.
You guys are awful.
Nesto right.
I can't even repeat that 504. Ain't gonna take away all my hard work today. I've been on here for 2.5 hours. TX Toy said, I don't care for any of these hoodlums. Thank you, Christine, for the super sticker. I think I had a few questions. They probably old and stale now, but I think I answered that. Okay, so Lucas said the Cassie video, why is there no requirement for the prosecution to prove the video is linked to the ex-trafficking charge of victim number 1, especially if Combs' team has video dispelling the government's claim? So they were trying to do that today. Lucas, thank you for the super chat. They were trying to do it today by saying that they talked to a worker who was actually in the hotel room allegedly, who is saying it was all this happened after they had a freak off. So I don't know if that's the connection you're looking for, but that's what the government was saying. Granny the Great said he ain't gonna obey his attorney. Rockin' Robin, thank you for the super chat. Said he's been injected just like the bleach he suggested we inject into our veins to get rid of COVID. You must be talking about your president-elect.
That 4-year-long cruise don't sound too bad.
Nah, that's scaring me. Getting on the crew. That sounded real Titanic like. I don't plan on being in no movie 200 years from now because I was in a boat for 4 years and then they got to go find my remains. And my old diaries when I was on the boat. That won't be my testimony. My great grandkids aren't going to learn about me from the archives that floated up on the side of the shore. That's not going to work.
I'm not messing with you.
It's not going to work.
Oh.
No, ma'am. No, sir. Y'all gonna get on that boat and they gonna deliver you to the cotton field. Go ahead and get on that boat.
They can drop me off in like Portugal, Italy. They can just drop me off someplace where wine is prevalent.
I'm a realist. For offering 4 years. That don't sound fishy to you guys. They're offering 4 years for you to just float on the water. That sounds fishy to me.
I mean, because a cruise around the world is a year.
Oh, okay.
So you just take that same cruise 4 times. I guess that's it. But then they say you stop liking your next door neighbors real quick, and you can't really escape from them. There'll be all types of fighting and drama and issues. And I mean, at least we ain't got Nesto on the boat. I might be safer, on the boat. Maybe. I don't know. So
what if they use the boat as a way to handle the issues in Fulton County's jail overcrowding? Then they will be on your boat. So you better stop. Okay, let's see what they're saying over here.
Okay, here we are outside the Southern District of New York Courthouse, Inner City Press. Matthew Russell Lee. We've just covered the Sean Combs bail fight. It went on for quite a while.
It did.
The Jeffries Abercrombie case was discussed, and some other cases. Obstruction of justice, tampering with witnesses. But it did arise that the defendant is proposing not that he live in Star Island in Miami, but some undisclosed Upper East Side apartment. The judge basically left it for some new letters to be filed Monday by noon, and said he's going to rule next week in writing. So there'll be quite a bit of suspense. I think there might be people staking out the MDC in Brooklyn, trying to find out where this Upper East Side thing is. We live tweeted it, and we're actually at work on, I believe, the second one. The first book is Did He Do It? There was a little bit of issue with whatever. It was banned for 2 days, but it's back. And now there's going to be one, I believe, called Diddy in Detention, because this whole ins and outs of the TrueLink system, a lot of the sweep, the possible mislabeling of legal pads, it's all happening, and it's all happening here. But Inner City Press, on the case, find us online, and the book on Amazon. We continue.
He said he getting his money. That's what he said. That's what it sounded like to me.
Diddy in detention. Love it.
He said, he said the Amazon. He said he got a book. They took it off for a couple of days, but it's back on. Now he gonna do book number 2 about the detention and the legal pads. Because for those that missed it, the legal pad issue, it sounds like it's more akin to what many of you guys thought, which was that was written on the notebooks after the fact to try to make it look like that perhaps those were legal documents that were taken or pictures that were taken up by that investigator. So the judge clocked it and said, well, the pictures taken and the books you showed me don't match. Like one of it has legal on it and the actual photos don't have legal on it. And so the judge told them, be prepared to argue it on Friday. When they didn't come with any type of information in any of these documents, I figured they really didn't have an argument. And so the attorney just basically said, I'm looking into it. I don't know how that happened. We told him to put legal on everything that's legal related. We told him to make sure he identified it as legal so they know not to touch it. So we don't know. We know that the picture that was shown does not have legal on it. And he said, and the one that we showed you did have legal. And the judge basically said, don't be trying to get one. Don't try to get one over on me. Okay. I noticed it. So now you know how I roll. I don't trust nobody and I pay attention to everything. Don't let it happen again. I felt like you was misrepresenting. Don't misrepresent again. Watch how you represent to this court. So that was the end of that. He could have went a little bit harder, but the judge didn't. So luckily for them, I know a lot of people made that into a real big deal and did whole videos. I talked about it in the membership. I did a small video on it when the judge asked them to explain why the photos had legal, but the pads, the photos did not have legal written on the pads, but then the actual pads physically had legal written on it. So I did a video about that in the membership if you're a member, but
Well,
to get further clarity.
So if they have to respond in writing, and the judge is going, if they're doing theirs in writing, and the judge is responding in writing, then Diddy could be gone by the time we get notice of it.
Yeah, I think honestly, if they're gonna let him out on bond, they're not gonna tell us. I think they're gonna let him go be swift off in the night or something. And then we're all gonna be talking about it when he's already at his undisclosed location.
So they're gonna upload the document.
Rockin' Robin.
11:59.
That's what I think is gonna happen, right? Because other than that, they're gonna stake out over at the MDC. I feel sorry for these journalists that work for these big organizations that want to get the story first. Because honey, you might as well get your turkey sandwich because they're about to have you sleeping outside the MDC to try to see if you can be the first one to get the pictures and get the information. Rockin' Robin said, he said, don't risk your license coming in here trying to pee on my face and tell me it's raining. Pretty much. That's kind of what he said. Redacted. Kelly said, yes, I think the defense tried it with that, but I think Diddy wrote that after the fact. Okay, why they do a close-up like that? Somebody, I mean, is the attorney, he might be gone. He might see the way that building is set up, that courthouse, you have the doors, which is the front of where all of these people are staked out at, but you also they got a good lens. You see how close they got? That's crazy. But you can also go like in the back, and there's like an entrance in the side. So I'm wondering if maybe, because we used to sit outside waiting on Whitehead to come out, and he never came out. We was like, dang. I was all walking around the court like, you gonna come out? Like, is he gonna come out? I was gonna see if I could catch him for an interview. He probably would have pushed me down and been like, I ain't do it on purpose. Because, baby, the way he would stare at me when I walked that last time I came to that court, and I walked over there to the left, like where this building is, that's where they have the metal detectors and the marshals to pat you down and all of that. And I went through there. He happened to be right behind me. That was for that revocation hearing on whether they were going to revoke his bond after he was found guilty. He looked at me. If looks could kill, baby, I'd have just dropped. He looked at me like, I hate your guts. I hate everything about you. I thought about writing him. I was like, you think he'll ignore my writing? Write him a letter? I hope
he ain't got nothing else to do.
He was supposed to have a hearing yesterday. Whitehead was supposed to have a hearing yesterday with the campaign worker. So they were going to have him, I think, on video. So he was going to actually be there for that hearing. And then something happened with the judge, so they had to postpone it to like February. I was like, dang. Thought we was going to talk about him yesterday, but it got postponed. You said Diddy on the Run, book 3. You know what?
Listen, I have been quite interested. This little Diddy saga has been quite interesting.
It has.
I didn't see it going like this. I didn't see the day ending like this. But you know what? How everything else is gone, this cliffhanger makes sense. Makes sense. So I guess I'll just be looking at the docket on Monday and Tuesday Wednesday.
Make sure you DM me. I'm going out of town all next week, but I'm gonna jump on this live wherever I'm at. I don't care if I'm in the airport. I'm jumping on this live when whatever he says comes down. I am going to obviously report on it. So if you get it before me, make sure you slide it over to me.
I
Thank you
absolutely
so
will.
much for coming on, Tracy. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate you co-hosting.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. 504 said Whitehead is in there dealing GG's on his prison jump seat. Not G for Gucci, G for guilty. You know what, 504? You are officially in contempt of court. We're just going to figure out how many days we're going to give you. We should all write letters to the bling bishop. Tell him we all miss him on YouTube. The internet has not been the same since he's been locked up. You know it. The way he used to, you guys would be DMing me, telling me how much he's dragged me on the internet. He used to be dragging me. He dragged my whole family on the internet. I was like, whoa, he hates my guts. And then I would just ignore him and then just show up to his court hearings. That was my get back. I'm like, let me book this ticket. Tell me to my face. And he ain't say nothing to me, not one time. Not one time. 504 not gonna be free unless they give Diddy bail. If Diddy get bail, then 504 can be free. She's been held in contempt. So if he gets out next week, then you get out 504. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know if there's any bail packet appropriate for you. Lisa said, I'll miss him. Our letters must include blank, blank, blankety blank, big, huge blank. Okay, I don't know if anybody coming out here. They got the stuff all set up. I guess we supposed to just sit here till they stop streaming the cameras. Like, how does this go? We've been on here for a long time. Thank you guys so much, too. Hit the like button. I've been out here working. Out of all the bloggers, why you? So what had happened that part? Me and Mr. Whitehead have gone a long way. So unfortunately for him, when I started my YouTube channel, he was one of the first stories I talked about. And when his church got robbed, that was going to be the only story. But then he did a press conference. And when he did the press conference, he thought people were going to care about him being robbed, but they did not. The reporters was asking questions like, what about the lady that you stole $80,000 from? What about your house in your apartment building in Connecticut with foreclosure? What about, like, all they did was just talk about, because we didn't know him. He was from New York. So he had made headlines there a few times, but we didn't know him in other states. I was like, what are they talking about? So I went and I started looking his cases up. Little did I know he was like disgusting and Ernest Williams with all these different cases. So he kept my content flowing. So I talked about him for about 6 months or so, right? And other people kind of started talking about him too, but I was like one of the main ones, and I would go over his documents. One day he woke up and he chose violence. Okay. He was like, he finally called my name out. There was a couple of other people that were talking about him like all the time too, like a little bit more than because I talked about other stuff too, but he was like consistently every week I was talking about him probably for a dang on year, at least at minimum. But he woke up one day and said, I am sick of this broad from Detroit. She's a failed lawyer. That's why she's on YouTube. She's bald-headed. Her name is Bald-Headed Pam. She ain't got no edges. Oh, he was letting me have it, okay? So I'm laughing. It was funny to me. But to my husband, it was not that funny, okay? That part. So my husband DM'd him like, who you talking about? Keep my wife's name out your mouth. And then next thing you know, I wake up, my husband got pictures of him on his Instagram. He got pictures of my husband on his Instagram. He did a whole thing. He going through my husband's photos of when he was sick and when his mama died. Like, he started getting dirty. Like, when his mama died, he was like, my husband had something about his mom on his page. He was like screenshotting it and DMing them. Then my husband DM'd this wife and was like, you married to a whole demon, but you on here praying every day with people. Oh, it just got, and I was just back here. I thought it was funny, but other people around my son was ready to fly to New York. It was just bad. I was like, I had to calm everybody down. Like, this is YouTube. I really don't care what he says. Oh, well, I guess it's nothing. We ain't got nothing. They just ended the feed. But that was it. That's pretty much what happened. I hope that and then after that, like, he would talk about me and I still reported on him. People's like, you still reporting him? Then he started suing people. He sued a couple bloggers. He sued Tasha K. He found this attorney online who at first was talking about him too. He wanted to represent the lady against him. But then she had an attorney and she didn't pay him any attention because he was trying to say that her attorneys didn't know what they were doing and that they were filing it wrong against him and they should do it this way. So he started going on other platforms and he was telling people how Anderson is going to win and how by the end of the year he'll probably be in a jumpsuit. And then the next thing you know, that attorney is representing Whitehead, helping him sue other people. So he sued blogger Larry Reed. He sued, like I said, Tasha K. He sued, like, the one with Larry Reed. He ended up being able to get it dismissed with the anti-slap. Tasha K got hers dismissed with the anti-slap. And then towards the end, him and the attorney kind of, he sued a DJ too. He sued the DJ over there in New York because she had a segment talking about him and she basically said he was a scammer. So he sued her too. And Miss Jones. And Miss Jones, she was the first one to win hers. And, she was entitled to attorney fees too. So she was the first one to sue him, but I don't know if they went after attorney fees or not because they probably knew he ain't had none. And so that went by fast. I don't know what judge they had, but everybody else has kind of lingered until after he went to prison. And then they started slowly dismissing his case. But then everybody would come on, why he sued me? Why he ain't sued Pam? I'm like, why y'all want him to sue me? Like, I know what I'm doing. Some of y'all might be saying something. I'm like, whatever, So why he ain't sued Pam? She talk about him all the time. That's how I knew that YouTube was dirty. They was like, why you doing that to me? Sue her. And that's what a lot of people kept saying. And I still kept talking about him. He was like, he told people he was going to sue me. He was like, oh, I am. Her lawsuit is coming. I'm suing her. I'm definitely suing her. And he would tell people he was going to sue me and all of that or whatnot. Blah, blah, blah. And then, it never happened to my knowledge. And I continued to cover him. And then when his trial came, I went down to New York and I was there every day for his trial. Sure did. Relocated, took my computers, did all my hearings and my depositions on Zoom. And I was there at that trial every single day. And then when he had post-conviction motions, like the motion for remand, because then he got out of, then when he lost, was found guilty on all counts in the trial, he gets out and he decides he still want to defend himself to the public. So he ended up getting himself in trouble, saying all these other motions were filed. So I still was covering him even after the fact. So then I just took the plane and flew there. And he just hated my guts. And there was so many times I sat next. I came on the elevator with him one time. One time we was waiting on the elevator together. Waited on the elevator. I was like, him and his lawyer, he was whispering. I don't know what he said, but he probably was like, there go that bitch over there that keep talking about me from Detroit. But he never said anything to me. We sat next to each other on the bench. I used to be tweeting like, not really tweeting, but like, in the membership, I'll be like, y'all, guess what? Whitehead is right next to me. He probably watching this tweet right here. He ain't never say nothing to me. So that's all. We have a long sordid history. And then like he had took these people's church. They still are going through that legally. And when they got their church back, they had the link. So I like recorded it when he had to go in there and take all his stuff and remove it. And like he probably got a reason, I guess, in theory, not to like me, because I was basically highlighting a lot of stuff that he was doing. So it was, and they were thanking me like I was giving it. Some of these people had talked to bigger bloggers that were trying to get their stories out about him, and nobody took the case. Was talking about his case. Then when I started talking about, a lot of bigger platforms started trying to talk about it as well. But for the most part, people that were victimized by him, nobody was paying attention, And so I kind of brought light to it. So like, because of that, with the church, Glory of God, like just 3 months ago, they paid for me and my family to come down there and gave me some proclamation from the state's representative from New York for helping them, get the word out and all the help that they needed and all of that. And gave me my little plaque and all of that type stuff. I didn't do it for that purpose. I was literally just covering his cases. You guys saw after the trial, Miss Anderson, she came out and she thanked you guys on the platform. She said she always been in the bushes. Then you had the guy that said that he lost money from Whitehead because he was the campaign manager when Whitehead was trying to be Brooklyn borough president. So we was over here doing the Lord's work, and he was over there, mad at us and hating us or whatever. Thank you. Let's see what your name is on here. Y'all ready to get off of here yet? Huh? We've been on here for 3 hours. Thank you guys for rocking with me and supporting. Dorita, thank you so much for the Cash App. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting. Y'all make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Y'all done? You guys done? Are we done for today? You think we're done? It was a nothing burger, but we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it too. We've been over Jeffries. We went over all the latest documents. Now it's up to the judge. So we'll see what the judge has to say. So everybody, keep your ears open. Keep your ears open. Yeah. You said not yet. It's always a good try. I gotta eat some. You hear my stomach growling? That's my stomach. That noise you heard, that was my stomach. All right, y'all. Hit the like button on your way out. I'm out of here for real. Thank you all. I enjoyed it. This was fun. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.